What's up, good people? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I didn't do a sound check. Hopefully, everything is okay. Hopefully, y'all are hearing me just fine. We're about to get this thing started. I know it said 10:15 p.m., but y'all know me. I be messing up. It was really 10:15 a.m. So hopefully, y'all file on in here. I see a few people just duck their head in here. I didn't even make a thumbnail. We struggle streaming today, but we about to get it in either way. I was running late, but let's get ready to go. Let's get it started. Where we at? Where's my intro? Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What's going on? What's going on, good people? Like I said in the pre-ramble, I messed up and put it at 10:15 p.m. Hopefully people still make it on in here. We got a special guest, a brother who was at the Manosphere meetup who I definitely enjoy. He was there. Y'all probably saw the clip. I think Little Big Nate posted it. We went out to breakfast after all the events and everything was over. We went out to breakfast. His brother was there with us. Definitely, it was a pleasure talking to him. Good brother, just recently subscribed to his channel. Definitely be bringing the heat over there. Goes by the name of Big Mike Drop, and that's definitely what he be doing. So definitely want to support this brother. Moderators, y'all know what to do. Y'all know the routine. Drop his information in the chat room. Drop his see, I'm sitting there fumbling, trying to get things started still. Drop his information in the chat room. But without further ado, let's bring up the guest of honor, the man of the hour, Big Mike Drop in the building. What is going on?
Man, what's up?
And if
man?
you're talking, I can't hear you because I don't got my earpiece in. Hold on.
All good. How y'all doing out there, man? I'm Big Mike, and there we go.
All right, here we go. Now I can hear you.
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? Doing good. Welcome.
How was your holiday? You getting settled back in and everything?
Oh yeah, no, we good. We good over here. I ain't done a lick of Christmas shopping yet, but you know it is what it is. I get to it. I get to it when I get to it. But looking at we was talking about your backdrop. That's you got that ATL backdrop behind you. You from what they call, I found out in these parts they call it Straglanta, because it's so many strags out there.
Well, thank goodness. I'll say this: I'm a transient. I'm from Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
I'm from the Gulf Coast, and I've been up here going on 4 years now.
Oh, okay. So you transported down there. How you like it? How you like it?
It's okay, man. The traffic is crazy. That's actually part of the reason I started listening to podcasts on YouTube. It was because the traffic was so insane. Back home, I could just wake up and get where I needed to get. Throw a couple of songs on and whatnot. But getting here, it might take you an hour to get 15 miles. So,
Yeah. No, that's because we were just talking about how, I'm from small town Saginaw. That's how it is out here. A 15-minute ride is 15 minutes. A 5-minute ride is 5 minutes. I hate living in big cities. I like to live close to a big city so I can go do some big city stuff when I want to. But I prefer to live in a small town. The parking is free. You just pull up and come and go when you please. And
absolutely,
I don't like all that. I don't like all that big city stuff. But
man, it's a culture shock, bro. It's a culture shock, and like I said, it's a lot of nice things to do here. You can go to games. The entertainment is okay, but is it worth the what you really have to trade off for it? No, I'd rather just fly in and catch the shit and get back to small town myself.
Right on. But before I even get officially started here, shout out to the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early before we get things started. I definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all today, especially with today. And I started, I messed up the time, put it at 10 p.m. So I appreciate everybody coming in. Uneducated lame. See, you thought we was doing a night show. No, we're not doing no night show, not doing those no time soon, as far as I know. Stoic One in the building, Excalibur in the building. Shout out to Bowdy Thug. Shout out to yes, I'm going now. Do it live. KD in the building. Shout out to KD. Shout out to Snuggles. You sent the super. I wouldn't rewatch my stream last night. You sent the super chat. I didn't dodge it on purpose. I just didn't see it. I'd even play your little music now for the simple fact that I missed it.
Hi, I'm Snuggles.
All right. But I saw your super chat and I missed it. Shout out to Sonny's Hot Rod in the building. Also, shout out to Big Mag the Fisher, another brother who was right there in the Manosphere meetup. Shout out to Big Mag. Shout out to who else we got? Yeah, Big Mag dropping your links.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The Mac the Trucker, WL Fonzo in the building bright and early with the $2 super chat. Definitely
these days $2. I'm not gonna lose.
And appreciate my man Big Mac the Fisher coming back. He's putting 5 on it. He says, "Give Mike one of these dollars." Absolutely.
Hey, salute.
Yeah, moderators, make sure y'all dropping his links through the chat as we get things going. And I even threw a curveball on the title. Everybody's saying Hoes is winning. I just put in there, men are winning. So we gotta justify that claim. That's gonna be a hard sell, but we're gonna have to justify that one. But overall, give us some of your background. What got you into this doing this type of content? And I don't even know exactly what set you claim, if you claim part of the Manosphere or red pill or this or that or whatever. But either way it go. What got you into this content? What got you into doing this kind of content?
Well, I started an audio podcast back in 2019. So I was going, doing Anchor. I wasn't doing lives. And, I was just experimenting with the idea. I've always been comfortable in front of the microphone. I grew up rapping and doing shows and talent shows and stuff.
Oh, you're gonna have to spit some bars.
Oh man, you gonna make me spit some bars, man?
No, I'm just playing.
hey, look, I can still do it. I'm 43 years old and I still can do it. I don't know how relevant it'll be, but I mean, I still, write from time to time. I still make beats from time to time. That's just because it's something I enjoy doing. But
okay.
I
still can hear you. I just got to move for a second. But go ahead.
Handle your business. I started down my path of inquiry in college, and of course, I was a history major. That's why I rock my fire history teacher, gear out everywhere I go, because I feel like people should research and find out the story for themselves. So I started the audio podcast because I had I used to be not really hotel. but real pro-black back in the day, real pro-black.
Uh-oh.
And I started asking the question, is white supremacy dying? Is it on the end? Is it on the decline? And I started getting a lot of interesting answers from people. And I'm like, I'm going to, start an audio podcast and start talking about this. That was, of course, 2019. We know what happened in 2020. The draws is off. White supremacy is dead. It's on us right now. So that's kind of what drove me to the Black Manosphere. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I started listening to, Kevin Samuels, and he put me on O'Shea Duke Jackson. And I reached out and made a connection with O'Shea, and, really good brother. And I just started exploring more people. I met Big Mag the Fisher through O'Shea Duke Jackson, and Big Mag the Fisher put me on you and put me on, some more creators. And it's phenomenal to me. It's I'm a social science person by trade. That's what I got my degree in. So things that affect society on a macro level, they and a micro level, I guess, to an extent, they intrigue me. And the manosphere, the Black manosphere especially, intrigues me.
Yeah.
And I started getting pulled in from there. There's certain things I'm red pill on, it's certain things I may be more purple pill on. I'm not a blue pill guy. Never have really. Well, I can't say never have been.
Right.
When I was going through my struggles, it was never okay to me. I could never justify them. So that's why I say I was never a blue pill guy. If anything, I was the purple guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you knew what it was. You just kept doing the wrong thing regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, I just kept going the wrong direction. So this intrigues me, man. I'm interested to see where it's gonna go. I know that every action has an equal or opposite reaction. In feminism, this is the reaction to Black feminism in the Black manosphere, and I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Right on, right on. Now, I just found out something new. I mean, I wish you would have hit me with that on the email. We'd made the whole show about that, because I love to hear people tell a journey, how they went from one extreme ideology to another, or one extreme to the middle. So when you said that you were an ex-pro-Black, what were some of the when you asked that question? Okay, about, I think you worded it something along the lines of white supremacy, and like what were the questions you asked, and what were some of the answers that you got that ultimately converted you or changed your mind on how you viewed it all?
Well, I started picking up on the game a long time ago, but I was stuck in habit and tradition. I'll say this: I started listening to Rush Limbaugh probably in 2004, around the time my son was born. And I agreed with a lot of what the conservative principles were. I didn't necessarily agree with every aspect of it, just due to my, sensitivity to race at the time. But once I started kind of checking my sensitivity to race, and that culminated probably with the riots of 2020, being in COVID and quarantine and whatnot, and seeing everything that was happening, it really started transforming my views on race. I started looking at things as less of a victim and more of a victor in this situation. So it's cool that you named this show Black Men Are Winning, because I firmly believe we are. And I come from sales. I was a car salesman, and I've sold, various other things throughout life. And I could sell this. Black men are winning at this point in time.
Uh-oh.
I can sell it.
All right, let's go. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
before we get all the way into it, let's talk about the Manosphere meetup. Like I said, I love that, a lot of brothers got together, met each other, brothers in this space, been talking for a while, met each other in person, shook each other's hand. That just was a, excellent experience down there. Excellent experience down there. What overall would you say about it? What would you say it meant to you? What was some of your biggest takeaways from the Black Manosphere meetup?
My biggest takeaway from it was I was comfortable knowing that it's more men that think like I do. And it's more young men. I was really encouraged by the amount of positive young men I saw. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what they were there for, you know, the IT training with Theo and, you know, Sir Tice, and how these older men were taking and mentoring these young men. And it wasn't a huge cost involved. I mean, we ate great. We had awesome accommodations. And, you know, nobody had to come out of pocket for that. So that allowed the younger crew to come. Like, we can afford to go do things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Older guys, but a lot of times younger brothers can't really pocket or foot the bill to come do certain things. And I love the way that the older brothers took care of the younger brothers.
That's unfortunately that's one of the impediments when it comes to brothers, you know, getting into stuff, doing stuff. Sometimes it's just that initial money to get started. Unfortunately that's the case. So I do like that. You know, shout out to Theo, shout out to Big Theo. He put it on the wood. He put it on the wood. Yeah.
Absolutely. Shout out to Great Britain too. I see him there in the comments, man. I you know, I really enjoyed meeting and chopping it up with him as well there. So I mean, I came away with a lot of good brothers, man, a network of people I feel like I could call and, you know, bounce ideas off of, whether we agree or disagree. I don't feel like it's any contention there. And that's rare with black men. So, you know, shout out to that brother as well.
Yeah, all day. Shout out to Great Britain. He says had the opportunity to meet this brother in real life, broke bread with him in my time sitting with him, buddy, a stand-up solid dude. Respect VR. Yeah, respect to Great Britain.
Thank you.
Respect to Great Britain. It's funny. Big Mike drop. What are you about? If I remember right, you seem to be about what about 6'5",
6'6".
6'6". Okay, yeah.
6'6".
I told y'all when we was at the Manosphere meetup, everybody said everybody in the Manosphere, they charged us up a bunch of 5'4" sexually frustrated men who can't get no women. That's what they charge us up with. I'm sitting there like Great Britain, like 6'5", you 6'6", I'm 6'1". This is bunch of big tall giants up in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think that is based in anything against women. I have to say that as well. I didn't hear much talk about women there. And like you said, that's what the perception would be. I overheard y'all talking about things that were kind of floating around and saying that, you know, people were like, this is gonna be like some kind of, what did they say? Like some kind of male support group,
a woman or some woman bashing convention or something, or basically, they thought we just all just gather around just to talk about women. I think Minister Jab explained it best. It was basically just a career building IT conference for black men, but the Black Manosphere was essentially just the funnel that got everybody there, that brought all the boys to the yard, so to speak, which is good. That's how it should be. People, other groups, other organizations do that. Those, you know, they get with people with media platforms or some type of recognition. Right. And then those people, you know, they promote and they advertise it and they bring people out, and that's how you get people there. That's how you make things happen. Like we used our little status as a content creators and help drive an event that, I mean, I counted during the IT portion of it. I counted about 50 brothers in there with laptops open getting it in. So I'm hoping, hey, you know, chances are all 50 won't, you know, follow all the way through with it. But if even half of them, if 25 of those brothers follow in Theo's footsteps, it was worth it. It was definitely worth the whole event. It was a win. It was a win-win. I don't spend that much time talking about the people who want to bend over backwards to criticize it. But shout out to everybody who was there, who know the great event that it was. Shout out to the people that weren't there that still support it. Shout out to
Big Nate for you know,
little
Big Nate. Got a chance to shake Obsidian's hand. That was amazing. I kind of stand out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Now I am very familiar with Obsidian and what he represents. Maybe not necessarily with all his material, but I do know what he represents, man. And it was a pleasure to shake his hand and just, you know, acknowledge somebody that's gonna make history. This is a history-making event, just like feminism made history. The response to feminism in the black community is gonna make history. We'll turn this around and we will restore order.
Ooh, you can't be saying stuff. Some people don't like to hear that kind of talk around here. Talking about restoring order and whatnot. You know,
You know, man, I get it, man. It's a lot of things I don't like, bro. And I have to, I just have to put up with them. So I'm going to extend the same opportunities to everybody else. Just put up with it. It don't matter if you like it or not. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Right. See, they call that hopium. They say you going off that hopium. But like I've said before, I've said it before that if we can acknowledge that media influences people, okay, generally everybody agrees with that media influences people. Don't be so small-minded to think that black male media won't move the needle and influence some people too. Let's not give everybody else that power, but say we don't have that power.
Right.
Yes, it's still small. We probably need like 8 people to get as big as Kevin Samuels before things, before we can really, measure some verifiable change. Who knows how big it needs to get. But if everybody else can stir the pot of society, some of the same people will sit there and say that, oh, the media is putting out this propaganda, infecting our boys and causing young black boys to grow up and become gay. Like if media can convince people to bat for the other team,
right?
But damn sure media can convince people to move in a way that makes sense. They're just about putting the media out there. So I do believe in that, even though I understand it's a journey.
Absolutely.
It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Absolutely.
And
I'll say this, man. I told you I used to rap, man. I'm real quick on the clap back. You got to be sure that you aren't taking nopium as well.
Woo!
So, you know what I'm saying? You want to put it out there, make sure you're not taking nopium. So,
damn.
Right. And I'm going to explain how this happens. Let me go on and explain how it happens, because I told you I could sell it, right? So let's take the Manosphere meetup. It kind of affected me a little bit. Now I'm a little emotional about this. Let's take the Manosphere meetup. If you give 25 of the 50 brothers a job, making 6+ figures a year, and being able to then pick a mate, then stay with their children, reproduce, teach their children the same values. Yes, it can happen. It's not going to be an overarching revolution. It's a series of individual revolutions. And that's where this influence comes in.
That was a good one. That nopium. Yeah, I'm going to be using the nopium. I will be using that, because some people, that was something that came up in the Black Manosphere meetup. And keep in mind, the conversation, it had nothing to do with women when we were talking about this. But Lil Big Nate brought up just the idea, the notion of I can't. When brothers keep saying what we can't do. We can't do this. We can't do that. And Lil Big Nate, one of the things he was saying, it was right on point. It was powerful. He's like, we got to get that out of our vocabulary. We got to get that out of our mindset.
Right.
We got to talk about what we can do and move accordingly. And it's too much can't in a lot of brothers, and that I think that lends right to the victim narrative. Even though it is a lot of brothers in this space that have shared the victim narrative, but when it comes to the ideals of, rather, we're talking about what brothers can accomplish, how we can organize, whether it's organizing politically or whether it's combating some aspects of feminism, like we talked about, picking a state. We've talked about, getting together, funding a lobbyist, try to see if we can just pick one state and get, laws changed in that state. The situation just happened with the guy who just offed his wife and baby mama and all the whole, we know the story.
That was wild, man.
Unfortunately, so you did a real good stream on that, actually. Yeah, I shared that one. That was the one I shared. And situations like that, not excusing nothing that brother did, obviously, that's just the worst. That's the worst.
Right.
However, if we can fight to change the laws in one state, just if we can make it to where it's automatic 50-50, 1 week on, 1 week off custody, unless somebody shows some type of serious dysfunction or fails to show up, but somebody shows up. If it's a parent, this is biological child, he should be able to get 50-50 custody. When we talking about how we going to fight things like that, I don't got no room in my brain for the people who say, well, we not going to be able to do it. So let's not try like that. Those people, they damn near dead to me. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah, that's a dead mindset, man. That's a dead mindset. It's not gonna. How far in the future do you think we can go if we continue going down this path?
Mm.
And for those of us who have kids, now it's really about what kind of world am I leaving to my black son?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
And constructive consultant, I appreciate the question. What does restoring order look like?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it looks like you making order out of your life, sir. It looks like me making order out of my life. Now, individualism was never really, meant for us as where we came from. But now, since we're faced with it, you got to take this and you got to move it in a direction that's positive for yourself. If you get your situation together, if you get a wife or whatever you decide to do, if you have kids in the right circumstances, under the right circumstances, if you have the right understanding, it's about how these brothers are vetting a lot of these women too out here. That's a big problem. So, like the brother in Baltimore, he wasn't moving correctly. He wasn't moving right. His life did not have order. He had loose ends and he moved on to a new situation. And that new situation allowed him to come back and do the ultimate harm to the situation he claimed he cared about in the first place.
Mm.
So
yeah,
it makes zero sense at the end of the day. It's a zero-sum game.
right. No, I agree. And it was that situation was it was messed up. And keep in mind, like I haven't done any content on it yet. I actually did some pre-recorded stuff that's going to be dropping sometime later today with the lead attorney, where me and him talked about that. And so that was really my first time really talking about it. It was a situation where I didn't even know exactly what to say about it. It's almost like, what do you say about that? I understand the pain and frustration that the brother went through, but like
you can't move like that, man.
I can't. He offed some people, but I understand because man, listen. I remember after just getting torn to shreds at a custody hearing, for my kids, got torn to shreds, and they talking to them. They in there talking. I'm feeling like a damn insect, like in there. That's how small I'm feeling in there. Like it was terrible. It was terrible. These my damn kids all born into a marriage, but it was a situation where they were like, there's like her lawyer and the judge. They was almost talking to me like, why are you down here bothering this woman? It was that was the energy they was giving off. Like I was just like some child throwing a temper tantrum. That's how I was talked to.
Right,
man. Man, when I went up out of that courtroom, I was driving down the street, man. It was going on my way home, going to a residential neighborhood, just driving. I looked and realized I was doing 75 and a 35 and didn't even know it.
Yeah,
I had to snap out.
Right, exactly.
When I was zoned out and just seeing red, just that mad. If she would have came in front of me, I wouldn't have killed her. But if she would have jumped in my face and said something crazy to me in that moment, whoo.
Yeah. No.
So that's why I understand the pain, the anger, and frustration when you love your kids and you just fighting for your damn kids, and everybody is coming again. That rage. I understand it, but I couldn't even bring myself to even do content on Homeboy because he killed somebody. I don't want to sound like I'm justifying that. And so it's a hard tightrope walk, but all right, I said enough. Go ahead, man. You got it.
Realistically speaking about that, was he a victim? Yes, he was also a victim. It was several victims. He was a victimizer and a victim at the same time. Now, the point I was making on my stream was in the Constitution, you have the right to a fair and speedy trial. You shouldn't be involved in a custody battle for 3 years. You shouldn't. Most people aren't involved in criminal cases for 3 years because you have the right to a fair and speedy trial. It does not specify what type of trial. A child support trial should really be no contest, period, 50-50. It shouldn't be any reason to go to court because all it is hearsay. Is that what they say? Unless somebody has documented proof that this individual is just not a, you know, a toxic person or a good person, then yeah, I get it. But just off of like they wilding, man. Look, I gotta ask them this question real quick in the comments, real quick. So I understand what people are saying about hopium, but I want to know, what do they recommend? What's the counterpart to hopium, which is obviously what they're on? What's the counterpart? They're in the comments. They'll say it. But let me continue what I was saying about the situation with the dude, you know, offing his ex-wife. He should have never been in the situation with the new chick. You know, his life, that was it. I don't know. He was moving like a simp to me. He was moving very feminine and very emotional. Now, what did you do when you felt like doing something? You know, you felt like you were going to do something. You were driving away from the situation, right?
Yes. Oh no, I wasn't on my way to. No, I was on my way home.
You
No,
were
I wasn't
driving
even
away.
feeling like I was going to do something. Like that ain't. I ain't
Well,
really got that in me to go do something.
right.
When I was just leaving the courtroom and I was so mad on my way home, I didn't realize I was doing 75 and a 35.
Right. That's
And,
what I
and-
mean. But you
yeah.
were
So
getting the hell out of there.
yeah.
And I doubt if you were going to knock up some other chick.
Oh no, I was going.
Right.
No.
You're trying to get that situation closed out first.
Yeah.
Right. That's where he fucked up at. Excuse my French. I know this
Oh
is
yeah.
and all, but I got, you know, that's
Yeah.
where
You
he
good. You good. You good. But yeah. So that put it in. You know, I'll say this. If you're responsible, like okay, when men go through, because I mean I went through a divorce. Now
too.
when
Yeah.
I was going through the divorce, I I was dating other women, but I for damn sure wasn't about to get caught up and impregnate some
Right.
other woman. But I mean you're taking a chance if you're having sex anyway. So I do question how reckless was he being. Was he just let's just assume he just got a pending situation fighting for custody, and then meanwhile going in raw on some new chick. Like yeah, that's some stupid behavior. It's no ifs ands or buts about that. No way around that. The Clue channel in the building says hopium
And change
and
us.
change dust. Shout out to Clue. Special shout out to Clue. Make sure, hey, drop the link to Clue's channel. He's been dropping a lot of clips and videos from the Black Manosphere meetup. He got a clip of me that I didn't know existed when I right when I walked in. I sat down at the table, and that's when we was going around the room and everybody was having a say and having their words. And basically like 70 brothers in the room. Everybody, took like 5 minutes to say something. And right when I sat down, because I came in kind of late, because me and Obsidian was upstairs recording something that Obsidian should be dropping sometime soon. I don't know what he's waiting on, but excuse me. I sat right down and I ended up having to speak, and I'm like, oh shoot, what are we talking about? So they just, sort of just handed me the mic, and I just got up and just freestyled something, and it was kind of funny. And Clue, I didn't know Clue was recording it, so he made like a little professional, well-produced video out of what I said. So I do appreciate the Clue channel for getting that done, for posting that. If you got some more stuff, man, keep it coming. E Black says, when is the official video coming out? I got all the I don't have videos of any of the speeches. I think some of the speeches probably were not recorded. I'm not even sure about that, but I know there was a lot of official videos. It was at least 2 professional cameramen there recording stuff that was going on. So that should be dropping. I don't have it in my hands. The only thing I have in my hand is a video of me and Obsidian had a sit down conversation, a few of them, and then me, Obsidian, Minister Jap, and Lil Big Nate had like a 4-man round table discussion. It was like an hour and 20 minutes long up there in the presidential suite. It was pretty nice, pretty nice. So I got all of that, but like I said, I was putting it in Obsidian's hands to once he released whatever he's gonna release of it, then then I was letting him do it first, because that was his on camera debut. So I want him to release it how he want to release it, when he want to release it, and I want him to get the views for it. I want Lil Big Nate to release it and get the views for it too. So, you know, because that's both of them made a big step coming out there. Nobody had ever seen them. They came out there in person, put themselves out there, put themselves on camera, and so because they made that big step, and especially Lil Big Nate being the guy that, you know, that really, you know, the little guy with the big voice, what I call him, the look with a little channel with a big impact made that happen. So I do want him to be able to drop all of that. I got it all right in my hands. I could drop it, but I want Obsidian and Lil Big Nate to drop what they're going to drop first. But so just be looking out for that. I don't know when it's all coming, but just be looking out for it. But TBE Trucking in the building says toleration. What do you mean by that? Clarify. I'll be looking out for it in the chat. Clarify what you mean by toleration. My man SKC in the building says great conversation and guests. People like phrases like hopium, but in reality, who wants to live in a hopeless society? You do, Mr. Let It Burn. Any consequences of hopelessness? There are consequences of hopelessness, but see, this is where I make a distinction and I draw a line. Okay, when it comes to your individual life, you got to do what you got to do. If everything around you is crazy and chaotic, you don't just say, "Hey, I need to affect some change." And so go and just pick one of the strags out of the dumpster fire and try to domesticate her and build a family with her. No. You don't do that. You for damn sure don't do that. You know. So yeah. So if you could want to see the bigger picture change, you know, that's when it comes to, you know, changing laws. That's when it comes to, you know, being a culture warrior. I actually like that term, being a culture warrior, with, you know, the media platforms, promoting certain media platforms to stir the pot, to try to change the hearts and minds and thoughts, views, and perspective of people in the culture, while work is being done to change the laws to directly affect how people move. You could do all of that on a big macro scale and understand that you may not even see the full benefits of that in your lifetime. It was some people who was fighting for gay rights back in the 70s. They probably was dead by 2008 or 2012 or 13 when they finally got the right to marry, but they were fighting the fight, and that fight got passed on to somebody else. Like, so you could think big picture in big outcomes and big possibilities of what could happen, and you can take the steps and just roll that ball up the hill. You could do that in your life, but as far as your personal life, you don't put yourself in harm's way for some greater cause. I don't that part I don't believe in. I believe in protect yourself at all times.
Right.
But if you see something that's wrong with society, then yes, you can take steps in the right direction, or be, you know, more a part of the solution than a part of the problem. That's where I'm at with it. But we talking macro right there. But your micro, oh no, protect yourself at all times. Do what you got to do. You know, that's why you'll never hear me hating on, you know, brothers that get their passports and go do their thing, and, you know, hey, do what you got to do to get out of the cesspool. But, you know, so that's where I'm at with it. It's a difference between the micro and the macro when it comes to that.
Well, people that what I assume is I get it, that everybody wants to benefit off of everything. Everybody wants to see the benefits off of everything. But when you're a leader, or when you're trying to lead people in a certain direction, you know, it's the old, you know, proverbial Moses situation. You don't make it in. Everybody else may make it in, but that's the sacrifice that you make when you jump out here. You know, if you're jumping out here and you're calling yourself a leader, and, you know, you want to, you know, people to kind of follow your message or whatnot, then you're making that sacrifice. You may not get in. You may not see the benefits of that, but if society can benefit from that in the future, you've done your part. Yeah. You solidified yourself in history. That's part of being a man. If you know, that's feminine talk, man. That's feminine talk.
No.
No, you see what I'm saying? It's like, if I'm not gonna benefit off of it, I ain't gonna do it. If I'm not gonna benefit off of it right now, I'm not gonna do it. Imagine if our ancestors would have thought like that.
Where we at? I saw a super chat. This probably gonna get interesting when we open this thing up. Yeah, and I want to announce the days of wild yelling, screaming panels are over. Yesterday was the last one. We will have a respectful conversation and exchange of ideas. Even if it get a little disrespectful, it's still going to be one at a time. I got to put my moderator pimp hand down to make sure that ain't nobody wilding out. Because we gotta cut back on all that. Freeman's Journal in the building. He says nothing changes in the black man start enforcing consequences. Changing family court law will not magically give black boys the ability to read. The gynocracy must be torn down brick by brick. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And I don't think anybody said just changing, what did he say? Changing family court law will not magically give black boys the ability to read. No. Nobody said. And shout out to Freeman's Journal. There's another brother that was right there at the Manosphere meetup. Yeah, no, that won't change that. But yes. Okay, again, I'm talking long term. Changing certain laws. Yes, changing certain laws and certain things changing culturally will increase the probability that that black boys won't grow up in the situation that they're growing up in. And so it will put them in a see that's where I'm a culture warrior. The laws need to change and the culture need to change. Just changing the laws without any cultural change that means nothing.
Right.
It means nothing. Well, it means people in a certain situation won't see. I'm divided on that. I normally say the culture has to change before the laws change. I bring up the gay marriage situation. I've done this before. If you listen to me, you've probably heard me say this, that Barack Obama finally okayed or got in favor of gay marriage once the culture changed to the point to where 51% of the country was in favor of it, 49 against, and then magically Barack just said, you know what, I'm in favor of it. So the culture changed, and then the president moved in line with the culture. Then eventually the laws got changed because the culture changed. The civil rights movement was was grassroots fighting before the Civil Rights Act was passed. So the culture has to change first. Now, sometimes you can sneak in a sucker punch and force some change out of some people.
Right.
With let's just say if in Atlanta it was made to be automatic 50-50 custody no matter what.
Right.
That's a forced change that I know a lot of people don't want, and the end result of that forced change would ultimately result in more kids having their fathers more prominent in their lives.
Right.
And so that change would ultimately affect the outcomes, like what are you talking about, of black boys. So black boys will see a better outcome through that forced change from the law, and then that will then trickle into changing the culture over time. So we're really talking about a thing that's got to happen over time. And I think a lot of times with black folks, and they've done some studies on this, to where we delayed gratification is not our strong suit.
Right.
They've done some studies on this, and everybody called the studies racist, but I mean, call it what you want to. Delayed gratification is not our strong suit. So we do gotta think big like that when it comes to delayed gratification. Number 16 in the building. He said, if that's the case, stop bringing up J Speed. It is embarrassing at this point. Also, keep your pimp hand strong with Obsidian's outbursts and tantrums. What I said goes for everybody. And I will bring J Speed up, and he will play by the rules, and that's that. And people will be getting rotated, cycled in and out. I'm only allow 4 people up at a time. I'll just be bid them in, get them out. So yeah, ain't gonna be no long-winded loud panels with a bunch of people with like 8 people on it. I tried to reduce it down to 6. I tried to reduce it down to 6 people. I can't even do that. We doing 4. We getting it down to 4, and I'm cycling people in and out.
Absolutely. Hey, can I interject something real quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead, because I've been rambling. Go ahead, you got it.
No, it's something that you talked about. I don't want to lose the point when you talked about what needs to change first. So you're absolutely right. Until the culture changes, it doesn't really matter. The courts are a product of a culture.
Yeah.
So culture's there first. If it don't matter what laws you change, if you got a chick that doesn't respect the fucking law, it doesn't matter what laws you change. If you're out here and you're not properly vetting who you having kids with, and you're just out here because she got an ass though, or she look good, and you skeeting, shooting the club up, She gets pregnant and she doesn't respect the law, it don't matter what court you take her to. It's going to be problematic.
Right on, right on.
It's going to be problematic. So, that's what I'm saying. The culture has to change first. And the way the culture changes is, you stop fucking with them.
Body Thug in the building says changing laws is about what's right, not about changing women. Yep, people always circle it back to women, but no, I agree with that. He says that's where you lose. I agree with that 100%. It's not about changing women. Hey, thank you to everybody coming through, dropping something on it, putting 5 on it. Appreciate it. Appreciate all of y'all. Appreciate the Mac the Trucker. He says, Bernard, don't take the fuckery panels away. Listen, man, okay. It will be passionate debate, but moderated passionate debate. Right. No more of that interrupting just to interrupt. No more heckling the person while they talking. Somebody gets to go a full. Trust. I got it. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. If the culture, the mindset is changed, the law wouldn't make a difference. Enforcement of the law only has obedience as long as you enforce it. Yeah, absolutely. The Body Thug, I think I said that one already. All right, cool. Shout out to Great Britain. Shout out to Falcon Black. He says, what is that? GB support. I don't know what that GB is.
Great Britain. Yeah, so this is a British flag. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, shout out to all of y'all. Says Bernard properly vetted and still was drugged in court, fam. Hold on. I mean, okay. Let me just make it very clear. Yes, you can properly vet and still get drugged through the court. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. I can't say that that's what I did when I got married at 19.
Right.
I was 19. I mean, no, so I can't say my vet game was strong. I got married at 19.
Right.
But no, anybody who say, oh, if you just properly vet, then you're A-okay 100% of the time. No. Properly vetting is just a thing that you should be doing anyway, regardless of what your end goal is. I mean, if you just plan on this woman just being around you for until you get tired of having sex with her, you still should be properly vetting her every day. I mean,
absolutely.
So, but yeah, no, it's vetting that you can do to minimize the possibility of some harm coming your way. I don't think it's vetting that you could do to make a 100% hands down, you're going to be good.
Right. So, you're never going to eliminate risk in life, period. Only thing you could do is try to mitigate and minimize risk. But you're never going to eliminate them. So nothing is all of anything or none of nothing. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Constructive Consultant, he says, while I agree, Big Mike, about being more stringent with vetting, I disagree about enforcement and punitive responses. I don't even know what he means by disagree about enforcement and punitive responses. Do you know what he mean by that?
I'm trying to figure it out. Let me just look. So being stringent about vetting, but enforcement and punitive responses. So I guess he disagrees with the thought about the court. Maybe something needs to be in place in the court. That's the only enforcement and punitive arm that we have at the end of the day.
So you disagree with laws changing?
Yeah, that's what my guess.
Yeah, I don't know how you could disagree with that. See, my thing is, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're skeptical of, no matter what you think can't happen, only thing I hope that when you see brothers move it in a direction to try to make it happen, I just hope that you support. That's what I hope. That's where my hopium is at. I got hopium for brothers, and that your brothers gonna support and moving in the right direction. The link is in the chat for anybody who wants to come up and get a piece of this conversation.
And I'll say this: hope is basically a dream without a plan. So, I mean, I don't think any of us out here dreaming without a plan. I'm sure the next time you get into a situation and you decide to get married or maybe have another family or whatnot, you're going to go into it with a different plan. You're not just going into it hoping it works out. There are tactics. There are things that you can employ to kind of, like I say, ensure certain outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get what you deserve, you'll always get what you negotiate.
Right on, right on. Somebody said his name is Statistics. We do numbers. That's funny. That's funny.
85% of statistics are bullshit. Catch that later.
You said 85% of stats are bull.
Yeah.
Oh man, see now that's what we gonna have some disagreement. Why?
Just
Okay.
the irony in what I said.
Ah. You got me.
Throw your loop there.
You got me.
Hey, break the ice a little bit, man. I feel like we're gonna have a little bit of a battle, man. I like it though. I mean, I think that it's gonna be a healthy dialogue with whoever comes in. So
Freeman's Journal in the building. He says, carrots and sticks. Enough wealthy black men, Will Smith, have demonstrated that there is not a carrot sweet enough for black women. Now it is all sticks all the time. He said all. You said all sticks. You hit me with that. You hit me with that Ron Burgundy. That 70% of the time it works every time.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I got hit with the Ron Burgundy. All right.
Shout out to that brother though, man. I like the name. Statistics. We do numbers.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. No, the link is in the chat. Anybody want to come up? What do we got as far as wait, hold on, because I was trying to right now. See, now I wasn't even planning on talking about, shout out to Pablo in the building. Pablo brought the heat on the last stream. I wasn't even planning on talking about marriage or none of that today, but since you brought it up, so I'm assuming you said you was divorced, but are you currently a married man?
I'm married.
Married.
Yeah. So
okay.
Going on 3 years. Married a woman I've known for 2 decades. I went to high school with her. So I just returned back to the source at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, I was together in high school?
No, we actually weren't together in high school. We attended the junior and senior prom together, and that was pretty much all the interaction we had. I think we went on a couple of little outings. She was just a good girl. She was cool,
Okay.
She remained.
I was about to set you up. I was gonna see if you went back and married the chick that gave you the run around when she was younger.
No, absolutely not. It was never a crazy backstory with us. I mean, like I said, I liked her. I thought she was a good girl. She had a good family. So I escorted her to the prom 2 years after high school. I mean, I went my way, she went her way. And we just reconnected 20 years later. In which case there was no crazy backstory, nothing to overcome as far as that was concerned. So no, I don't double back though. I never look back.
So that means you're doing the stepdaddy dance and everything, huh? Right?
No, she has no kids.
Okay, cool.
Cool. She's doing the step mama dance because I have a 17-year-old son from my previous marriage. So and she's actually she actually embraced the title, and she supports me 100% with my son.
Did you try to get custody after the separation or no?
I did not try to get full custody. I wanted to do 50-50. So my child support situation wasn't really.
Did you get 50-50?
I did not get 50-50. No.
Oh, okay.
I did not get 50-50. I wound up getting 2 weeks in November, 2 weeks in December, the whole summer, 2 weeks in the spring.
2 weeks in November, 2 weeks in December.
Yeah.
And the whole summer and what?
And 2 weeks in the spring.
Okay.
So, I had 6
basically
weeks.
4 months out the year then.
4 months out the year.
Add it all up. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, that
33%.
Actually, even though it's broken up like that, and I don't like that, that's still better than that. When you add it all up, that's better than the every other weekend. When you add up all the time, because that every other weekend stuff is just 2 days out of. I mean, it's really just 4 days out of each month when you really calculate it.
Right.
He basically come in Friday night, Saturday night, and leaving Sunday during the day. But when you count it up, that's just a 48-hour period. You come Friday at 6, leave Sunday at 6. That's 2 days basically.
Right.
So basically that's 4 days out of the month. So when you add that all up, it add up to less time than what you actually getting. So that's
Well,
I take it y'all lived in different states.
we stayed in different states, and like I said,
Oh
I was
yeah.
married to her. We got divorced, and she moved, back to where her family was, where the majority of her family was. So, but here's the deal: over my son's lifetime, I wound up keeping him probably five years. So he stayed with me for years, stretch. So I was able to be there through elementary school, through middle school, and we actually had him in high school. And then he decided that he wanted to go back with his mom when he got old enough because he has siblings there. So of course I let him go back. He follows me, but he doesn't know I'm on this show today. But he usually follows me, so I try to kind of stay away from talking about it because I don't. It's
Oh
details
yeah.
that he shouldn't know. But he doesn't know I'm on this show today. But his mother has some struggles throughout, the years. And of course, I was there to backfill. So he was always able to come stay with me. He's always had a room in my house. And
Right.
he's occupied it. So
Right on.
yeah,
Number 16 in the building, he says, a woman does not have to be evil or trifling to run you ragged through the court system. Absolutely true. The system has built in fuckery that women can easily use against you. Absolutely true. Don't get fooled by her demeanor. Absolutely true. Like I said, there was no such thing as, I wasn't doing no proper vetting at 19, but
right.
the chick that I did marry, I mean, she was on paper a good chick. I mean, she came from a good, solid family, sung in the choir at the church on the praise team, a good, decent chick. I mean, some of y'all in this space are familiar with Irene Yvette. If I put my ex-wife on the phone, you'd think you was hearing she talk. I'm just saying that she talked like a black white girl. Let's just go ahead and say it. I mean,
Right.
she's one of those.
Right.
She's one of those. And yeah, and if you follow my channel, a lot of the fuckery that ensued during my whole custody situation. So no. I agree with number 16 100%. 100%. That you can't some of that stuff when it's balls to the wall and you in that courtroom, it don't matter what color she is, it don't matter how she conduct, the ratchet chick more likely to bring you problems before you even get to that point. She already busted your window out before she could get all the way before you even get all the way gone with her to where
Right.
y'all done built a life together, so yeah. So
Right.
yeah, it could be worse dealing with the chick that presents more decent for the long haul. And shout out to Al Boogie. He tried to call you Boyce Jr., but no, you cleared it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. None of hey, my heart pumps zero Kool-Aid. So
Yeah, right on.
hey, but no, I'll say this. I've been in the Boyce situation before. I have. And like anything, I got my ass out of it. I recognized it wasn't the place for me to be. I got my ass out of it. So I mean, just being real, keeping it real, I've been there. Just like I'm sure most people in their life have.
Yeah.
If you ain't fucked with a woman with a child, you ain't fucking, bro. So hold on. Let me go on and drop a body on that shit.
I agree. You shouldn't be getting full blown entangled with them and taking care of the children and doing all that. You don't need to do all that. But if you ain't at least had sex with a woman with a kid, you ain't having sex. Right. I mean, granted, hey, it's probably some brothers out there who move they move in such a tight way to where they meet a chick, they found out she got kids, they walk the other way. It's probably some brothers
like that.
Yeah. But I do think for the most part, with most brothers, yeah, she got kids. Yeah, you meet her. Yeah, she can still get it.
Yeah. I've been fucking with chicks with kids since high school, bro. So
yeah, shout out to Great Britain dropping the $2 on it. Appreciate
Thank
Great
you,
Britain.
Yeah, thank you.
He said the real grown man hour. Congrats, Mike. And I was waiting on him. Constructive Consultant came through. Shout out to you. Glad you're here. What in particular have because it's not like you had some disagreement with our special guest, Big Mike Drop. So what specific disagreements or whatnot have you had? What problems have you had with what's been said?
Bernard, first off, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. All right, great. Respect to the host, Bernard, and to his guest, Brother Big Mike. What's going on, brother?
Respect to you, brother.
Not a problem. I know it's the chat can kind of get tongue in cheek with it, so just if we sometimes we kind of hurl and kind of figurative darts at one another, but I try to be in good faith with what I propose or me being critical. So one of my questions was, well, I'll take it from here. The title of one of your last videos, brother, where you commented on Raphael Black's situation, where you called him a simp. I'm trying to, while I disagree that his actions were drastic, what made you come from the angle that the brother was a simp?
Because he moved on without tying up his situation. If you got a situation as a man that you're battling, you're that entrenched in, and you really care about the situation, which at the end of the day, he didn't care about that situation. His actions will prove that. He moved to another situation. It's the same type of mentality. I don't know if you've ever heard, I don't know if you date, black women, white women, or whatnot, but a lot of time, a term that'll go around is the best way to get over a man is to get under another one. Well, see, that could be flipped on his head for men too. And that's what it seemed like he did. He seemed like he tried to impregnate a therapist, and he had a little too much conversation for when really he was, basically just providing his enemy with information. That's simp behavior.
Constructive consultant.
Yeah, I'm here, bro. I'm sorry about that. On the delay right there. I don't know. I will say he did move wrong. We would agree there. To start off with the next one, but that brother, he was pushed into. I won't say he was pushed. That's incorrect language. The measures that ex-wife took, and then the measures that the new girlfriend took or ex-girlfriend took, I think it was just too much. And I'm not even sure if he even thought that the ex-girlfriend would take it there. And my problem is that when we're living in a country where accusations like that can be so easily hurled at a man, and then it affect him in family court like that, like it is, we know it's lopsided. I think that can all be that can add fuel to the fire greatly, which the man, as we know in these spaces and in the laws and what we can observe, we don't have that leverage. You don't have that leverage. While like I agree with what you're saying about the brother should have been more safe with his future choices that he made, I think that's where one of my comments, my super chats, Bernard, where I was saying that the punishment, the enforcement of the family courts, of just in general the civil courts, they must be they have to be higher for the women.
Hey, let me ask you something real quick, brother, if you don't mind. So where was this brother's kids at when he did what he did to his ex-wife?
That I'm not sure.
They were in his car in the parking lot.
Damn.
So
yeah,
they were in his car. He was dropping them off from the weekend. You see what I'm saying? So, what he was saying on video, the evidence didn't really point to that really being the case. It wasn't like the woman was keeping him away from his kids. He might not have had the deal he wanted to have. He let his ex-baby mama, the ex-girlfriend that he impregnated after, destroy his children. Do you see what I'm saying? He had his children. So if she's saying you molested your kids and whatnot, that's easy get over. Why would she let me get my kids on the weekend?
Well, let me say this.
In your car.
Wait, hold on. It's okay. See, this is where I'm at with that one, what you just said. If he had his kids and he still was in that frustration. Now, keep in mind, when I told y'all the story, how I left that courthouse, didn't even realize I was doing 75 and a 35. I was so mad. I still had weekend access to my kids, but when you in that, like, okay, you gotta put yourself in the mind, and men are different on this one. Men are different on this one. Some men are okay, They with their mom. I'm working. I pay the child support. I get them on the weekend. That's it. For me, that wasn't. To me, that was a slap in the face.
Yeah.
To me, that was the ultimate disrespect. Plus, I knew she was going to be backbiting and shit. I said I gotta stop talking about it. I knew that she was going to I knew she was going to get her win on paper and then have them with me in reality. So then I'm basically going to end up taking care of them while paying child support. So I knew she was just robbing me. I knew what it was, and so I was pissed because I was when you got a point like them, your kids, that's your tribe, those your children. You ain't trying to part with nothing, you know. If you 50, I wanted full custody, but 50-50 was fair. If I didn't have 50-50, it was I'm ready for war. I don't got 50-50. So, but some men are okay. Like, for example, you said you ended up with 33% of the total time. You were good with that. And y'all was in different states. So that's, you know, those summers and those 3 different 2-week periods throughout the year, that was an acceptable deal for you. So I can understand I can understand a brother. Now, hold on real quick. I understand a brother just being able to see them, but not having the exact deal that you want, and then they're doing all the other stuff on top of that, you know, telling the lies and saying he molesting kids or saying he doing this, saying, you know, they're just putting all that stuff on them. I understand the anger. I understand the anger, but so yeah. But again, no, nothing justify his actions, but I understand the anger, and I don't think it's necessarily enough to say, hey, he was able to see his kids. I mean, so for some men, that ain't just enough to be able to be the uncle dad every now and then.
No, I'm not saying it from the fact that he was able to see his kids. I'm saying that from the fact that obviously the molestation shit didn't stick in court. It was just something she put out there. There ain't no court gonna give kids to a molester. They're not gonna do it. So that what he brought up as being his reasoning for going on and Xing her out, he ruined his kid's life over a new chick, side chick at best, baby mama at best. And he let the baby mama push him to the point to where he went and did exactly what he was complaining about that was happening in his life. It's the holidays, man. I ain't got no family. So guess what? It's the holidays and neither do his kids. He's a generational curse at best.
Whew.
So I'll take Simp back. I'll fairly take Simp back. He's a generational curse to his kids.
That what you just explained right there, that is why I didn't even want to do content on this, because I know I would end up criticizing the outcomes, even though I understand depression. I understand some people are suicidal, and you know, they said he was suicidal before that. I understand all of that, but I didn't want to end up saying what you said, because yeah, if you just look at just the actions of what he did and the outcomes of it, you talking about kids growing up without the mama or the dad. You like, that's
as a man, you got to play the long game, man.
I can't. It's
kids
a horrible situation.
Kids are inconveniences to these single mothers. We know this. So at some point in time, if you play the long game, like I said, you don't have to engage every battle. That's going to drive you crazy. Sometimes you have to back up from the fight and just observe and see what's going on, survey the situation, and then find your end. Kids are inconveniences to women, especially when they're single. They're eventually going to give them up to you in some way, shape, form, or capacity.
Some of them will stand and
play the long game.
Some of them will stand and fight. Hold on, wait, I'm gonna go right back to you, constructive consultant. Let me get to some super chats real quick. Then I'm gonna go right back to you. Great. I think I already. Oh no, I didn't read that one. Great Britain in the building. He said, "Shout out to all the brothers who grabbed their sons: Ty City Bernard, Angry Man, Big Mike, Zero, Complex Design, Dr. Tiasan Johnson. A lot of men holding it down in these parts." Yeah, that's why I always push back against that whole little narrative that these the guys out here creating the single mamas and the baby mamas and got a bunch of kids running all over the place. I know more brothers in this space who got custody of their kids than I know serial impregnators in this space. Like, no, so I reject that outright when they try to pin that on the sphere. And shout out to my man Joe Ethereal, be coming through hard and heavy handed with the super chat, with the $50 super chat. Appreciate you supporting the stream the way you. And also, my man Great Britain back in here with another one. He said, "My guy, fantastic, and Little Big Nate as well." Yeah, listen, you reeled off like 8 of them, and you still forgot some. Like, I mean, it's more. It's actually more than that. It's more than that. They got custody. So yeah. So no, brothers in this space be definitely doing it and getting it done. But go ahead, constructive consultant. Go ahead, you got it.
I think some of the consternation, this is why I'm push back on you, Big Mike.
Okay.
The consternation is with a lot of brothers, and I've seen this firsthand, is what condition are my children going to be in? And what situation am I currently fighting with their mother is the concern for a lot of men. I'm going to say a lot of men in general.
Right.
And that would be my pushback on you, is that brothers are going, or men are going, what the hell conditions my kids gonna be in, bro? You know what I mean? She's turning them against me. I'm gonna have to walk away from this. Which, in effect, that's what I would encourage brothers. If they take you running you through the ringer like this, obviously now this brother had a career being I believe he was an anesthesiologist. He had a career making great money. So he also had his professional, risked his professional life being put in the sewer too as well, bro.
He did, but he didn't lose his professional license throughout the process, or whatever the accusations were. He did not lose his professional license. So once again, he was still able to see his kids. He didn't lose his professional license. I can't blame. I'm not gonna sit up and say I've been through this before, brother. Let me go and put that out there. I've been through that. I've been on the other side of worrying what my kid is gonna, what my kid is living like. So I understand. And plenty of times I wanted to just go off about the situation, but then I could not be here for him in these years. If I would have went off 10 years ago, I wouldn't be here for him in these years. So you still have to look at the big picture. You have to play the long game. You have to. I mean, it's hard. I can't tell you, how to feel about it. But you do have to be prepared to play it, especially if you're dealing with a woman who's going to use the court system, and the court system makes itself readily available for them to use it against brothers and men, period.
Constructive consultant. I got to ask you before I bring I think Marcos. Well, I go to well I'll get your name right when I do finally go to you. But constructive consultant. It sounds like you're saying brothers need to walk away. You always you will always get pushback from me on that one, even though I understand if these people are driving you, ex-wife and baby mama combined are driving you to get murderous and suicidal. And yeah, okay, for that person, yeah, he probably did need to be on a whole nother state, whole nother country, whole nother planet.
Right.
I understand that. but in general, bruh, that ain't something you could just throw out there that brothers just need to be just walking away. No, listen, the laws need to be changed, but right now they're not changed. Right now, you want more access to the kids, 50-50 custody. You got to roll up your sleeves and fight for it, or accept it every other weekend. But to just wash your hands, walk away, to me, that's not an acceptable answer. To just throw your kids out like that. That's not an acceptable answer.
My response to that, Bernard, I think you may be misconstruing what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying if it's starting to affect you mentally and emotionally,
okay,
and it's spilling over to other parts of your life, listen, Bernard, and I'm sure you probably have too as well as Big Mike. I've seen brothers make statements similar because they felt like their kids were gonna get a better life because the woman is putting them through the ringer with all the machinations she's doing during the process. That's what I mean by
what do you mean by make statements that your kids will get a better life?
he was saying, one of my partners who I knew who was going through it at the time, he was mentally, he allowed himself to mentally erode so bad before he got himself back together. He was like, with everything that she's doing and what she could potentially expose my children to, he felt like if he were to delete like old boy did, self-delete and delete her too, that his kids would have a better life than being in the muck and mire.
Hey, people that think like that shouldn't have kids, bro.
I disagree.
They shouldn't have. If you think like that your children will be better off without you and their mother.
I'm talking about he was going through a similar situation, and I'm saying he was describing his emotions. He was venting.
No, I get that. Yeah, you can vent that. Yeah.
Now, 10 years later, the brother has, it's turned around for him to a degree. She still got custody, but this brother's mentally strong. This is one of the strong ones.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, if it broke him down to the last decimal like that, I can't reveal too much of his backstory. Hey Bernard, it damn near was like Will Smith movie that he did with Jalen Smith when he was real young. It damn near was like that, except he didn't have his kids. It was
talking about Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. It was damn near like that, minus he didn't have his kids like that, custody of his kids like that. Man, that shit will fuck shit up. It will. Excuse my language. It will. It really will. You basically got to be Trump tight. You got to be Trump tight. So like I said, I don't think. I'm just saying the brother was describing how he felt at the time.
And I'll say this, brother. When it comes to looking at things, I'm not gonna sit up and act like I'm not an optimist. I'm an overly optimistic person. I firmly believe that every cloud has a silver lining, and that may be my coping mechanism. So I'm not saying what I'm saying is law. All I'm doing is offering another perspective on maybe how to deal with these issues. I mean, I would have snapped a long time ago. And like I said, if I got into my story, in depth, I've been in that position to where it's like, yo, man, I'm going, I mean, without saying it, you know what I mean? You know where I'm going?
Oh, so you'd have been there before then.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I'm not talking about something. I'm talking about something I'm on the other side of. This isn't something I'm making up.
Well, I mean,
I'm talking about, yeah.
I understand that, and see, that's what I'm saying. When you made that statement to me, or that question, like, well, people who think like that or who have thoughts like that shouldn't even have children. You just described you had a thought like that at one time or another. That's what I'm talking about.
I did, but I thought you meant that the brother actually caved under the pressure. You know what I'm saying? So no, I get it. If if you had that thought and you vented it, I will say this: I never told anybody that though.
Of course,
I never verbalized that thought to anybody.
I'm gonna say this though, and this may go towards Mr. Black's situation. I think more brothers need to start talking to their close confidants, men, telling them those things. I think they really do, because your brothers can maybe talk you off their ledge and really keep a close eye on you if they know where you're going.
Yeah, if you got real brothers with you, most definitely. And that just all depends. Like I have a friend I could call. Like I said, if I had a body in the trunk, I can call this dude, and we gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But I only really got one person like that. It's a lot of people out here that don't have anybody like that. Hence, you start talking to the new baby mama and spilling the beans in the bed with her, and then she turns around and uses the ammunition against you, and then you snap. He should have seen a professional,
No, he definitely needed to see a professional.
Yeah, he should have seen a professional. So yeah, I'm not getting down on your guy for going through a time of mental weakness. We all go through mental weakness. You can never really truly be strong until you acknowledge your weaknesses. So, that's one thing I will say as coming on the other end of my situation.
Mm-hmm.
My child.
All right.
In April.
All right. Beef and Brock. Thanks for the $25 cash app. You sent me one yesterday. You said you didn't want no acknowledgement. You got your acknowledgement today, man. Thank you for the cash app. Whether you wanted to be acknowledged or not. Thank you for the cash app. Put your name in lights. Appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. All right, we're about to go to this is Marcus Rodriguez in the building.
Up? How you doing, Bernard?
Doing good. Yeah,
so I just recently subscribed to your channel. I hit the link, shared and subscribed your channel to others as well. My support. So I've been listening very intently to this case for the last, give or take, couple of days, and we understand that mental health is a very serious thing. This man had obviously snapped. There's much more to this destructive formula than just him taking the blame. I believe it's also systemic because it's been going through a lot of shit. So, excuse my French. And I know that he had cases where charges where he had been dropped, dismissed. One of them was, I believe it was for a restraining order that was dismissed. That the DA, the prosecutors, if you have no weight on it, they will not pursue it, and they will most likely dismiss it, which the judge did. And then on top of that, there was the other charge that he had, which was, I believe it was for molestation of his own children, which was also dismissed to carry no weight, and it was dismissed from the judge himself. So obviously the woman, in my opinion, was making these false allegations because I have experience in California law when I've been interned as well with family court and criminal court. So a lot of people saying, hey, well, it was dismissed, so we can let it go, so he shouldn't be crying or complaining about it. Some people have said it, none of you guys, but others that have criticized this. And just because you claim or charge somebody and is dismissed, it's not just let go, because at the end of the day, your character is still challenged. It could be people saying, oh, well, you got lucky, or maybe you did do it, but you just paid off the courts or something, and maybe the woman couldn't take the full charge of it. So I think that's a big pushback on that. And yes, this man, even though he was a high earner, just because you're a high earner in this country, that doesn't mean your happiness isn't evolved or doesn't elevate from that. I believe I was reading a statistic where if you make 80 grand or more, your level of happiness does not rise in this country. From what I believe in a certain statistics I heard from another StreamYard. So there's a shift where they said, yo, just because he was well off, he should be fine. He has nothing to complain about. Yeah, I think there's more of a sympathetic, empathetic viewpoint of this. And it's a tragedy on all scales of the man, the women, the mothers, and the children that were orphaned. And I don't want to see any community, especially minority communities, where they have to suffer and have this dark stigma against them, especially when it's carried out and led by the elites.
Big Mike Drop, you want to respond to that one?
Nah, good point. You had a lot of information in there, and you're absolutely right. This is controlled, by the court system. The court system makes itself available, and I have a theory when it comes to that, especially when it comes to minority communities. See, we have this big, huge prison industrial complex, and you have to have people to fill this complex. And I mean, Alabama's building 3 new prisons now. They just spent, $3 billion on building prisons. Who's supposed to fill these prisons? So yeah, that's why that's where the court system comes in, because if you separate fathers, if you separate the order and the rules, and you allow the government to step in as the law, they can eventually, it's like a farm system for criminals and more baby mamas to make more criminals. So, that's what the apparatus of the court system is when it comes to the family. That's why we're fighting against it.
Great point.
Yeah, good stuff. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Kildu says he sounds like Alonzo, the life insurance guy. I have no idea.
Is that me? Is it supposed to be me?
Yeah, I think he's talking about you. I don't know who Alonzo, the life insurance guy is, but yeah, the link is in the chat. Anybody else want to come on up and get a piece of this? And we did talk about a number of things. One of the things that we were, hold on, let me make sure I put that link through the chat. Moderators, see my moderators, y'all be on the, well, Gail and RM be on the job, dropping Big Mike Drop's link in the chat. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to Big Mike Drop. We got 238 people in here. I have no idea where we at on the likes, but make sure y'all hit that like button. Constructive consultant, did you empty off your full clip, everything that you wanted to say coming up? I know we did talk about a number of things. We stumbled into the marriage discussion again. Yeah. It changing the laws. Or we
bad, y'all.
No. Yeah, we didn't had enough of that.
Hey.
We didn't already been too many civil wars in the sphere over that one. So yeah,
over marriage.
Yeah, we didn't have too many civil wars over that one.
Well, it is the most basic social construct.
Yeah, it is.
So,
but constructive consultant, you got anything else you wanted to add on that one?
Hell yeah, Bernard.
Anything that was discussed?
Hell yeah. As far as well, I want to pick at it because I sent you a super chat talking about restoring order.
Yeah.
To Big Mike.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel like there was ever a time in the Black community where we had this so-called order?
Yeah, there actually was a time when things were more in order. And I mean, as a 43-year-old, I was born in 1978. So I actually was able to see that. I was actually able to live through that time, especially in the deep South. So I was born pre-crack era, and of course lived through that, and seeing the results of that as well. But yeah, there was a time when there was more order. And the further we've gotten away from the civil rights movement, the less orderly our community, and I put that in air quotes, has gotten. Integration, and that's a whole nother discussion. I'm not going to go there. I'm not.
Do you gentlemen believe it's because of this new liberal left-wing extremist propaganda? A lot of this stuff that's been happening lately. Is that what you guys believe, that maybe this is where it's transitioned?
Well, it's not lately. I mean, this has been going on for 50 years. So, the liberal agenda has been playing out since Kennedy, I would guess. After Eisenhower and Kennedy on, they've been playing out this liberal agenda, the feminist agenda, or which all goes under the same umbrella, which I like to call the agenda. So yeah, this is something that's been in play for the last, going on 5 decades, or more than 5 decades, going on 6 decades actually.
Okay.
So this is a long time coming.
Yeah.
I will say this. It was kind of going back to.
I gotta step away. A constructive consultant. I don't know if you meant to drop down. Well, I'll bring you back up. Just stay muted if you didn't want to get back.
No,
in
but
here. I gotta. Okay, yeah, I gotta step away for a second. I'll let y'all go ahead and have that
go ahead.
conversation. I got it. Yeah, I got it.
We'll hold it down. Go ahead, constructive.
Okay. So with that order, I heard most of your response, brother. I had a call to knock me off. With that, do you think with the current trajectory that the so-called Black community is in, that if men, let's just say Black men become these high earners and vetting standards become better, do you think that it will change if most of these Black men still predominantly choose Black women, their counterparts, as wives? Do you think it will change?
Do I think it would change? Well, let's see here. Let me make sure I'm getting the question right first. So you're basically stating that if Black men stick with Black women, as far and kind of just only limit ourselves to marrying Black women, will that ultimately restore order? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if we're change our vetting standards and all that good stuff. Yeah,
I think yeah, absolutely, man. This is something that we're not going to be able to just go for the beauty and the looks and the ass and all of the fake stuff that society's offering now. You're really going to have to really look a little bit deeper into whatever woman you choose. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if you decide to marry and procreate with a Black woman or a Hispanic woman or whatever. It's up to you. I don't feel like Black men should be pigeonholed either, because no other race of man is pigeonholed into. They're not telling white guys you only got to date white women. White dudes dating Asian, everybody else, right? And procreating.
Okay, so you are okay. So I guess getting from the tail end of your answer, you are okay with. Okay, let me make sure I put this right, brother.
Go ahead.
You don't think that Black men have to do this exclusively, basically, as picking Black women as marriage mates? I'm talking about Black women in this country, because obviously it's a whole world out there, so you can date interculturally.
Right.
Obviously.
Absolutely. I don't believe in restricting the Black man's freedom to do anything besides that's legal. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to go date, whatever, if you want to go to Iceland and find a woman, that's up to you. I am more interested in Black men, whoever they choose as their mate, whoever they have as their family. I am in a fan of them, having a sense of order, being there. Even wives are unruly, man, at times. This is part of it, Women.
So let me
go ahead.
I'm sorry, bro.
Go ahead,
So let me ask you then. You brought up something interesting. if you were to just say percentage wise, how many of these black women are marriageable? Let's consider the next 20 years. How many of them would you say are marriageable, brother?
I really don't know, because all you really got to do is find your one. So, and maybe, maybe the process of vetting, a lot of times we allow things to step in front of our better judgment. And trust me, I understand. I've been there. We allow other things to step in front of our better judgment when it comes to picking women. So yeah, you might go for one. You might get caught up because the pussy good or whatnot.
Guilty.
Yeah, for real. I mean, everybody's guilty, man. If you haven't had this situation, you probably not, you're probably not dating women.
May I have a small comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the note, because I've been to different countries. Obviously, I did time in the military, and I noticed these differences in Mexico and the Middle East. I noticed here in America that the way that we do a community thing is very different compared to these other third world countries where they're together. It's more of a togetherness. Right. And I noticed that with families, it's because when the going gets tough, they don't give up. They don't really use that excuse or the option of divorce, because everyone's going to be involved in it and they're all going to want to help and cater to each other. Right. And I noticed here, they incentivize by splitting up. And I know we don't want to get into the whole marriage court, but it is true, because it is a monetary thing and it's a very capitalistic thing. And it says, oh, it's about happiness. No, it's about duty. Remember, a wife and a husband is dutiful. Right. Their each individual happiness comes second or third, because what it is the responsibility and duty for the children and for the significant other. That is what should make them happy. Right. And I think that's what's been very misled in this feminist propaganda, because I agree with you, brother. Absolutely. And I agree with that, because it pains me to see, because the kids are the ones that suffer in the middle. And when you hear these wars of where the woman is like splitting up, and the statistics show that for some whatever reason, 80% of marriages that are filed, a lot of the time it's because of monetary. It's not because of infidelity. It's because of money. Right. And that is what throws me off, because in America, you can still be fine if both you guys are earning 40 to 50K combined. That would be fine if you were to choose to work two jobs, you and the other spouse. But for it to be like this, there's a reason why it's going down the drain. And there's a reason why 55% of marriages now, it's close to 60 now, are ending in divorce. And I believe right now it's a community thing that we should be working on more to bring us together. And I think that's a big issue. And I think that's where maybe we can help the future generations more.
Absolutely. So you brought up one thing, and I think it's interesting. You brought up the sense of duty. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what's not really being enforced in our culture. See, America doesn't really have a culture. Let's keep it a buck. America
True.
America is popular culture. And that's just some basic generic culture that a lot of the world embraces. But when it comes down to it, America's too young to have a culture. And if it did have a culture, it would probably be a culture of violence. If we would probably be closer to Sparta, as far as our violent side, and that being our culture. So I think that popular culture, especially with the frequency in which it changes, it changes at an extremely high frequency. So every 48 hours or 72 hours, our culture changes. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, I try not to be on social media, because I haven't gone on there that much at all. But just here's the only social media I use is YouTube. But I noticed that, I don't know if you heard this saying, but there was this movie Fury back in 2014, and it was a line that Brad Pitt says that ideas are peaceful and ideals can be peaceful, but history is violent. And so for me, the way I took it was that mankind, no matter what, it's going to have its eras, no matter what, nonstop, this cycle, where it's going to repeat itself, but in different ways, but similar, where it's just going to be destructive to its own society.
Right.
And I noticed this thing now that for whatever reason, there is no consequence a lot of times. Like, we can have consequence, but now, like, our freedom of speech is limited now. If you notice with the way we say things, we can't really say it. Could be factually true and we could be shut down for it. Like this YouTube channel, we could be talking about something like the what was his name again? The Raji Black or Raji Black.
Yeah.
A lot of channels where they've gotten their videos taken down, their channels taken down for whatever reason. And I think that's part of the problem. Like, we need to be able to talk about it. And the moment that we want to make difference, I mean, out of all races, black leaders, black historical figures have been taken down when they try to make a good change. And I think that's a problem because Latinos, we don't really get talked about as much, but I'm fine with that because I understand like the history of black people here in America have always been severely oppressed and severely taken down. Because I that's why I empathize with black people. Even though I'm Latino, I empathize with black people so much because I've known what it is to be used as the little guy or as the punching bag.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I appreciate your thoughts on that. And you're absolutely right. I think Bernard's coming back. You have anything constructive?
Yeah. So how do we culture wise what's gonna act as a counterbalance to the women in punishment? Talking about culturally wise, how do we do that?
In punishment. That's a good question. That's a good question.
Who does that? Who does that?
I think like you basically are gonna have to outmaneuver a woman in court. And it can be done. I've seen it done. And it has to be done masterfully, but you can't have dirt on you and do it.
Well, I'm talking about culturally, Big Mike. I'm talking about culturally. You're talking about this resetting order. Culturally, who like we see in other, let's just say other African nations, they have like maybe the mother, the aunts, they act as a mechanism to punish or to kind of help corral the younger women and younger wives, to acculturate them and to keep some setting boundaries as far as them, shaming and all this other stuff. How do we do that when we've had at least 4 to 5 generations of women who are in alignment in the thinking? Do we do that? Or do we cast?
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing now. That's what the Manosphere is about, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, I'm kind of an outlier a little bit, but I'm very intrigued and interested in where this can go. But I think that this is the organized response. It will eventually shift culture. What I'm saying is those of us who are in on the ground levels, if we don't get a chance to see the benefits of it, doesn't mean we failed at it. And I'm passing these principles along to my son. I put my son on Minister Jap, So because I'm like, you need to hear the extreme version. You need to hear Bernard Riley. You need to hear, Little Big Nate. You have to look at it. There's Little Big Nate. Speaking of Little Big Nate, shout out to Little Big Nate. Man. I gotta hit him. I'm sorry. I had to do it. But
yeah, I think
you can outmaneuver women in court, man. They're not omnipotent, bro. And I think we have to get down we have to take them off of the pedestal because we are a culture of feminine worship.
Mm-hmm.
We're a culture of feminine worship. And me being one of the few voices coming from the South, Big Mag let me know that one of the few voices coming from the South, the progenitors of trick culture and hope and thought culture here in the ATL. Let's just keep it a buck on that as well. We have to have more voices coming out of this area that are teaching brothers against those principles. But yeah,
all right. I just made it back and I saw Spiritual Logic, aka Hawk. Shout out to that brother. He says planning to be a single father is a weird goal for men to have. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and hope that nobody argued that or said that on the panel, or what is he responding to?
No, nobody said anything that took my knowledge of planning to be a single father. So maybe it's just he's making a statement, which I do agree with.
Yeah, I agree with it too. I thought he was countering somebody else's point. So I was
no, ain't nobody on no goofy shit like that on here.
I was like, what the hell happened when I stepped away?
I don't think
Uncle Stu, the old man on the block, And shout out to you. I think I'll be seeing you on the lead attorney in a few other spots. So shout out to you. Showing love and support. When men live a standard, then women will follow or die.
Absolutely.
I have my okay. Well, we'll let it rock. We'll let it rock. Actions speak louder than words. Again, showing support. Okay. Only thing I don't like when we make it seem on a large scale when if men just do this, women will automatically do this. No, what will happen was when men move the way they're supposed to move, the men that are moving the way they're supposed to move will eliminate those who won't move with them. We can't fall into that saying that, oh, if we just did, because a dude came on my show yesterday, shout out to Duke, even though I have a different opinion of him after talking to him. And
yesterday I listened. Yeah.
Yeah, and went back and listened to a lot of his content too. It was yeah, he's I'm pretty much, I don't want to take a shot at somebody who I've invited into my house and we had a conversation with him. But yeah, he we have a thing going on where people who just completely disagree with the space, disagree with the talking points, message, point, and purpose of the space, come in pretending to be a part of the space, but really they're here to undermine it and basically they're basically just here to take a crap on the space, but doing it from within on some real covert under the
we
get under the tent.
Agent provocateurs.
Yes. You got the lingo. Yeah, so I almost feel bad bringing him in.
Yes, I've gone to disagreements and agreements with Duke and Don myself about that myself. So
yeah, because they're guising it under, hey, we just disagree with what Fresh and Fit is doing, but really they hate to hold down. Well, I don't want to say hate to hold down Manosphere, but yeah, I have my opinions, and I have my opinions on that. But hey, we're going to rotate some things in and out. We got some new people coming on up. So thank you, Marcos. Marcus. Is it Marcus Rodriguez, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Marcus Rodriguez, constructive consultant. Thank y'all for coming on up. We actually got Uncle Stu and number 16 and Uncle Stu coming on up. So shout out to you, brother. Appreciate y'all coming through. And again, thank you, Uncle Stu, for that super chat. Do appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I just want to put clarity. And then if I am wrong, I'm always one to say, let me learn. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have a problem that if my wording is off or if my understanding is off, to be educated. So I'm not here to go against anything. First of all, let me just say shout out to both you, Mr. Bernard, and you, sir, because first time I'm here, and I'm honored for those that came long before I did in order for me to gain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So shout out to you. Basically, what I was expressing is the fact that there is some men that already came up and going forward and setting the standard. So when I define standard, I'm basically talking about standard of living, moving, and acting and being. And setting that standard simply means this is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is the standard or the level of a woman that I want. And if I can't get that standard, then I'm moving to wherever I need to go, who's going to be at that standard and keep it moving. And those that want to rebel against that standard, they have that right. They have that choice to stay where they are. And then in staying where they are, guess what? Either they're going to stay and die alone, or they're going to come up to the standard that's being set. So I wanted to kind of put clarity onto what I said. And if I'm wrong, then I stand to be corrected. But this is how I was trying to articulate it. And forgive me for not camming up, because I'm normally cammed up whenever I come on somebody's show, because I don't want to be disrespectful in the sense that y'all cammed up and I'm not. I just got through with surgery, so I'm still trying to heal for tonight. Yes, sir.
Get well soon, too, brother.
Get well soon. You definitely cleared that up. Definitely understood. Yeah, we more or less. Yeah, we pretty much in alignment on that one. So yeah, no, we good. We good.
Okay, great. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Again, it was a pleasure being on y'all show, and I'll be back soon.
Yeah, pleasure.
All right, cool. Peace. Moderators, RM, Gail, y'all know what to do. Go ahead and drop the brothers' link in the chat. Thanks for coming up. We got well, we're gonna go to number 16 before we go to Spiritual Logic, aka Hawk. But go ahead. Go ahead, number 16 in the building. You got it.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to come on real quick because I was hearing talk about, well, our culture is one thing and other cultures outside of the US they seem to have together, but one of the big things that people seem to leave out is that in those countries where those cultures are quote unquote superior, a lot of times those are broke countries and with little to no support from the government, no safety net, if you will. And especially with some of these Middle Eastern countries, they actively uh, defend their culture or promote it through was it religious police and other things like that. So when we start to talk about, hey, we just need to stand strong, toughen up, and the women are gonna follow. Is like that's not gonna that's not gonna happen given the legal.
Wait, who argued that? Stand strong, toughen up, and the women will follow. Who argued that point? Who said that?
Well, I keep hearing like we need to set a standard. We need to like what is it? Behave a certain way, this and that, and just was Uncle Stu. He just said like, hey, if a woman or if a woman is not going to follow my lead, then she can do whatever. But if she does, great. But then onto that as well, if okay, she's following your lead, you get married or you have a kid, she can easily stop following your lead at any time she wants, and you are going to be saddled with the mess that comes with that. So it's something where
he didn't. Well, real quick, he didn't say if she follows my lead, then great. Okay, go sign the legally binding documents at the courthouse willy nilly. He didn't say that, but I mean, he's probably somebody who's down with that. But overall, nobody is saying that. Hey, if we when I thought he was saying that, I pushed back on him because I don't like when brothers make it seem like, hey, if you're on point, a woman is going to see that you're on point, and then she's going to automatically go through a metamorphosis and turn into a decent human being when she's has a track record of being a piece of shit her whole life. Like I passionately push back against that argument, and I will fight anybody on that one. So I don't let that one ride. I don't let that one ride. Like I always talk about how my chick, she's a solid chick, does whatever I say. She's completely on point, very cooperative and submissive, and that's just her nature, and that's just who that's who she is. That could change. She could flip. She can go to she can go left at any moment, but I'm not going to sit there and pretend like because I'm so upright and upstanding and everything. That's what forced that's what changed her, morphed her into this creature that's pleasant to be around. No, she's just an overall pleasant person to be around. That's just how she is. So when we talk about, I'm rambling now, and so I'll throw it back to you.
She's feminine. She's feminine.
Yes,
and women that have the feminine mystique, what they wrote about that even started the the feminist movement. Those women aren't gonna rebel against you.
Yeah, they would.
Feminine women aren't gonna
Feminine
rebel.
women will have you crying in court just as much as unruly women. What does a woman being feminine is going to stop her from, if you guys separate, like if you're married or if you're just cohabitating, have a kid, what is about her being feminine that's going to stop her from using the family court system to her benefit? Is it going to, because if that's the case, then there should, like, every time, like with all the feminine women in the country, quote unquote, it should be an automatic, oh no, he's a good father, he should get 50-50. They need to see the kids' life. There's not going to be any, well, the courts gave me this level of visitation or this money, what can I do? Like, they would, like, if they're feminine and good and all that, they would be proactive in giving you all the rights that are that you should get. But again, I fail to see what being fit, friendly, and feminine is going to change about a woman running you through the system.
Femininity makes a woman a woman. A lot of y'all out here dating dudes with pussy.
But again, I don't understand
When you
from
start talking about aggression, back talk, non-cooperation, those are masculine traits. A feminine woman isn't even going to possess those traits. Is what I'm saying.
So you're telling me that a feminine woman can't wake up one day and say like, yeah, I'm not feeling this for whatever reason, and take you and basically say, hey, I want to separate, I want a divorce, and you go through the legal proceedings and all that stuff. So are you saying that a feminine woman can't just not want to be with you?
Yeah, a feminine woman can wake up one day, just like you can wake up and not want to be with her. I mean, people go through metamorphoses and changes. What I'm saying is, even if she does wake up and say she doesn't want to be with you, a feminine woman ain't gonna take your kids.
Again, how is that? How are you? What are you basing that on? What are you basing? What are you basing that on?
What is your understanding of femininity? I think that may be what we need to establish. Maybe we're talking about two different things, because I'm not just talking about being a female. I'm not just talking about being skinny and petite and smiling all the time. It's things that actually values that go into a real feminine woman. A real feminine woman believes in family.
Again,
so she's not going to take your kids away from you. She's not going to steal your kids. If somebody came to steal from you and I'm just going to take from you, that's a masculine trait.
But here's the thing, like let's get away from like a feminine woman is not gonna be vindictive and take the kids away from you. What if she thinks that the kids are much better off in her care because she is a feminine, nurturing, caring woman, and the kids will be better in under her home? Like what do you have to say to that? Like, it's not just these women. Like, I'm gonna scar this man mentally. I'm gonna hurt him. I'm gonna
number 16. Number 16.
Feminine women want to submit. They don't want to leave.
All right, let me put it like this. I understand where number 16 is trying to take it. So I think I can possibly, help his point. Okay. A woman, yes, she could be a very feminine, cooperative and submissive woman, but she also can be illogical and emotional during a breakup. And seeing as the laws are set up to where her erratic, emotional, explosive female nature, when it comes to stuff like that, it's completely unchecked and is set up to where she can kind of do whatever she wants to do, as far as trying to make sure she win in that situation. The laws are set up to where she still can do that. Now, if she is truly a feminine woman who understands the scoreboard and understands that, my kids, they need their father. Yes, we broke up. I mean, there's some like that. There's some people who went through divorces and the woman understood that, hey, it ain't work out. My kids still need their dad. We got to do something amicable to make it work. But when the woman gets on that bull, she could still be a very feminine, cooperative, submissive woman when she with you. When shit go left, she could still get on some bull. Now, getting with a feminine, submissive, cooperative woman decreases the probability that she gonna kick you in the nuts during a potential breakup. You can decrease the probability. But see where I'm at with it. Yes, we do talk about the things in the culture need to change, and we are moving in a direction with this space. We're working to get some laws changed. So, but right now, yes, you are in a gamble. Now you need to not be messing with Big Mike Drop said. You need to not be messing with the men with what you call them, a man with a pussy.
Those with pussy.
Yeah, you need to not be messing with those ones. You need to do whatever you got to do to increase your odds. If your family is what you want, you do whatever you got to do to increase your odds. But right now, the way that it's set up, I ward against 100% making an argument that could end up being a gaslighting argument that's going to make men drop their guard and say, "Oh, she's nice, polite, feminine, and she cares about this, she cares about that." No, it's still a risk. It's still a risk. We can't lose sight of that until we see the whole culture start to change and laws start to change. We can't lose sight of the risk factor. Also, I'll never accept an argument that causes men to drop their guard down. That's what we got. We got to be careful with that one, even though we do need to get with the most feminine, cooperative, submissive woman to make sure that we increase our probabilities and outcomes, but we can't drop our guard even then. So that's where I'm at with that.
And one quick thing, and I'll drop off to add to what you're saying is that you can have, like I said, a regular woman, not evil, not vindictive, but because of how the court system is, because what it affords her due to the biases or what have you, she can see everything that's happening as normal. Hey, yeah, like I do believe that my kid should have the father in life, not 50-50. Maybe not even 33%, just what have you. But and in some cases, like we saw in Lee Turner, hey, we just need a father figure in the life. So,
but would you consider her a feminine woman? You go back to
I don't understand the reason why you are associating femininity with not getting torn with a woman not having the ability to tear you out the frame.
I'm asking a question.
In family court.
I'm asking a question. Did that woman on lead attorney that you just brought up, was she feminine to you?
Again,
just answer the question and then elaborate. Answer the question,
just to continue your line of questioning. No, I don't think she was feminine.
Exactly.
But again, femininity is not going to prevent you from any type of issues court. I'm not going to say that the woman's gonna make you eat dirt and do whatever, but again, they are going to take advantage of what the system is offering them. And again, femininity is not somehow a link to not getting screwed in court. That's you can't pair that to what is it? You can't pair femininity with somehow legal fairness.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I say. And thanks, Bernard. Thanks, guys.
Chances of even getting to the legal process are slim with the feminine woman.
I beg to differ, but it's all good. All right, guys.
I'll say slimmer.
They're slimmer. Yeah, they're slimmer with the feminine woman.
Yeah, I'll give you that all day. Thanks, number 16. Appreciate you coming up. Nigerian Flex in the building says feminine submissive women are going to be just as bad as modern machine woman. With this, what is this dude talking about? And Nigerian Flex said, "What is this dude talking about?" And Nigerian Flex is right here in the chat, so he about to come up and do the thing. I see you down there, Game Changer and OGJ Speed too. Definitely going to be bringing y'all up in a second, but we're going to go to Spiritual Logic, aka Hawk. Wait, before we do that, there I said in the building, shook this brother's hand at the Manosphere meetup. He says, "Pro tip: when vetting a woman, look closely at her mama's mindset on proper gender dynamics." Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, that's a good idea. It's a general good idea, but I don't necessarily. You gotta look at their mama. I don't do that as much. But anyway, Juices and Berries Smoothie Hut. A feminine woman is friendly by nature. She will put the family and kids' well-being first. Character matters. The panelist is moving the goalpost. Thanks for calling it out. They coming at you, big mic drop. They coming at you.
No, they were talking about the other dude moving the goalpost. I'm the one who called it out. Yeah, I know that what she's saying, the Juices and Berries is saying is absolutely true. Now you can do anything to piss somebody off and drive somebody to a breaking point. So let's not. We have to be intellectually honest when we're talking about breakups in court systems, because a lot of times the way you break up and the reason you broke up can impact how you get treated in the court system.
Yeah,
hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. You better believe that shit. They didn't say.
Yeah, but the supposedly blindfolded, unbiased hand of the law shouldn't be acting scorned as well. That's where I'm at.
Right.
Great Britain, once again, dudes having 1,000 reasons why you can't. Shout out to Great Britain. Appreciate the super chat.
I'm with GB on that. I'm with him on that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Evie now in the building says, with all due respect, number 16, to be projecting his experience. Number 16 seems to be projecting his experience with some bad apples on all women. It's like women saying all men are not productive because she had a terrible experience. I don't think he was saying all. he was saying that there's no way to filter. You can't filter based off. You can't filter at a 100% rate of accuracy based off if she does this, that, and this. You can, like I said, you can reduce and decrease probability. Right. You can reduce and decrease the probability of things going wrong by those attributes. Spiritual Logic, aka Hawk in the Building, says salute, but not a very interesting discussion. LOL. Why the LOL? But either way, I'm about to pass it right to the brother right now so he can definitely weigh in on this conversation. You got the floor, you got the mic.
What's going on, Bernard? What's going on, Big Mike, and everybody else? What's going on with y'all?
Good. How you doing, brother?
So I'm gonna first deal with my comment because I know it was a weird comment to make, but it seems that from what I'm hearing, like the whole outmaneuver a woman in court. When you say that that's what the goal is, because I heard you say, well, it comes down to you having to outmaneuver a woman in court.
Right.
That's going to inevitably lead you to being a single father in that situation. Like, you're not going to go in court and then come back to a viable nuclear family. Once you get to court, the family is already divided.
Right.
And if you won that situation, then you default to a single father.
Yeah. What's the outcome that you want to achieve in that, though? Don't you?
But the whole thing. We're missing the point that we have to get there. That we're saying that that men fighting in the court system is some normalized event, is a logical outcome in a society. It's not.
Right.
The fact that men have to fight, the fact that that's the mindset you have to go when you engage in having a family or getting married to a woman, that you inevitably, and from a lot of people's anecdotal experiences that I've heard, had to go to court, had marriages that ended, had to go on child support. Like, just from an objective reality, it seems that this male-female dynamic is just a small consequence of a macro problem. Because, like you said about this, feminine women won't do these things. When a man is from the get-go in a weak legal position, femininity is becoming weaponized against him, because you have to bait and seduce a man to want to get in the situation before you can weaponize against him in a weak legal position. Right. If that weak legal position wouldn't have existed, then that woman's femininity couldn't be used to bring him in a situation he would have never gotten in.
Right.
And so I'm just looking at this on a macro level, because it's easy to say that femininity, but that has no bearing on morality or how somebody's going to treat you in the long run.
Right.
Yeah, in the beginning, everybody got in a relationship because it was great, because the woman was doing what that man wanted. That's just how everything starts. Nobody just shows their teeth in the beginning. But to sit there, and we can't ignore the legal climate that weaponizes that femininity to draw men in a situation where they give up legal control over their lives, their resources, and ultimately start at a low position in the family court system. They have to prove themselves above a woman who's in most cases just defaulted granted custody, and unless she's like a murderer or a psychopath or something like that. And I think that a lot of guys are just trying to hit that home, because, like I said, this whole thing about the issues that men are having is just a micro issue in a macro problem. Government replacing men is a government agenda, and unfortunately, there's not going to be any viable generations of family if we don't deal with this macro problem. It's just going to be an infinite number of failed marriages and broken families, and people getting married 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and just normalizing this dysfunction to the detriment of any progress.
Right.
And I just think
I got a question for you, brother. Hold on 1 second.
No problem.
I got a question for you. So, and this is not a riddle, but how do you eat an elephant?
You don't eat an elephant.
Yes, you do. You can eat an elephant, but you can only eat it a bite at a time. You can't look at the whole elephant and figure out how you're going to eat this elephant. You just have to start biting. So what I'm saying is this: macro situations are created by micro situations. If you
that's not what the law proves. The law proves that
one can't exist without the other.
No, but the law has been set up like this. Remember, if you go back, once the law favored to put women on this equal standing in an egalitarian society, and women were favored in the court system, the culture facilitated the law. It built off of the law, because now, you know, sexual freedom, sexual expression, free love, and all this stuff built off of the law changing. And now women want to be sexually liberated. Now all these other agendas came in to destroy the family, because a family that's broken in pieces feeds the government controlling everybody, especially the byproduct of those future generations.
I know what you're saying, and what you're saying is not false. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is this: is you're putting the cart before the horse. There's no way courts can change culture. The culture was changed. The culture changed, and then the courts followed. Courts can't change. Courts are a product of culture and society.
Where did the LGBT once that became legal, then it started to explode in the culture.
But it became.
It was a hit. It was a hidden thing. It was a hidden thing since the beginning of time. There was always weird people doing weird things, but it wasn't until.
That's not true.
Well, I disagree with you on that one.
Homosexuality was very prevalent in Greek and Roman society and Egyptian culture.
Well, no, hold on, wait. We don't gotta go back to ancient time. No, we don't even have to, because like right with us with spiritual logic Hawk is talking about, and I make this point all the time, that it's gay marriage. They didn't just all of a sudden just kick the door down and say and pass some legislation. They had been fighting for that for a while, but the majority of the American people was against it. Once it got to the point to where the culture changed, and 51% of the American people was in favor of gay marriage, then the sitting president Barack Obama changed his opinion with the people. The culture changed, then the opinion of the president changed, and then it got done. So the culture does have to change first, but so it can go hand in hand. It could go hand in hand. So, but right now, everything that you're saying, spiritual is accurate, to where she's advantaged and she could weaponize her womanly wiles and femininity and all of that. She's empowered to weaponize it. So where I'm at with it is, yes, we do need to talk about what's wrong with the culture to try to affect some type of cultural change as much as we can. And we need to do some things to try to change the laws. What I wanted to say to number 16 when he was up here, because that is part of the agenda, you know, going forward. You know, the Black Manosphere meetup, the second one we're going to have, is going to be a political agenda. We're going to be trying to work on getting some lobbyists and the whole thing. We're going to pick a state and try to get some laws, get a like a child custody law changed and everything. We're gonna start working on that. Only thing I need from the people like yourself and number 16 who's just saying the laws is fucked up, so no dice. Hell no, we won't go because the laws are messed up. The only thing I ask is that when we start moving in that direction to try to, you know, change it, you know, will we have the support of y'all?
Yeah.
And then if the answer to that question is yes, then hey, we all on the same team here. That's where I'm at with it.
Well, of course, but we will have the support. But here's what I'm saying: like, once the law allowed women to actually not feel like they didn't need a viable man in the home, then the children subsequently become being raised in a more feminine mindset. So as a subsequent of that is that the especially the males become weaker over time. You know, I don't know what people call you. Anyway, the males become weaker over time. So therefore, there's less and less actual viable masculine men to actually keep things at bay, like homosexuality and all these things. Like that grew in tandem with less actual viable fathers being in the home. Agreed. And that was a law influence that, because again, once women started raising more males, that definitely influenced the amount of LGBT community that started to spring up.
Yeah, no, agreed. All right, we're going to go to Nigerian Flex. Nice name. I like the name. Nigerian Flex in the building. I think you had some disagreement with Big Mike Drop. We're going to pass it to you. Spiritual Logic Hawk, thanks for coming up. Moderators, drop his link in the chat. I'm going to cite, you know, that's how I do it now. We cycle people in and out. But moderators, make sure you just type in Spiritual Logic, aka Hawk, if y'all not subscribe to his channel and get it in. Get his link dropped in the chat. Gonna bring up I'm gonna bring up Game Changer right now. OG, after I drop Nigerian Flex down, then you next, OG. Hope you had your medication. That's all I ask. Just take your pills right now, so that way while you're waiting in the back, they can start sinking in and start they can start working by the time you come up. But real quick, Juice and Berry's Smoothie Hut says women aren't necessarily favorable by the law, but favored by judges who are people and biased in their own ways. You're halfway right. It's not even just the judges. In my experience, it was the arbitrator. In some places it's called something else. I don't know, a guardian ad litem. I don't know. They call it a different thing, but basically, during my custody situation, me and my ex-wife, we had to sit down basically side by side in front of a person who was a woman who works for the court system. She asked us a bunch of questions. We had to give answers based off our answers to the questions. She wrote up like a 10-page report, handed it to the judge, and it came with a recommendation with a scorecard, who she thought was the person who needed to get the kids. That person doing that is in most cases a woman and completely biased towards that woman. And judges are lazy. So when the arbitrator hands the judge what she thinks it should be, and let's just say she gives the woman the victory, it's like 9 different points that, let's just say she say the woman is better on 7 out of the 2, then the judge is going to say, hey, that's a 7-2 landslide victory. It's going to take a metric fuck ton of data and information and evidence to overturn this. So he's just sitting back, just like, he's just sitting back, barely even paying attention while we trying to argue our case. Oh, and then after the case is done being argued, it's just go with what the arbitrator said, because he don't want to have to think through the process. So that's where it is. It's the judge. Yeah, the judge is a person, and yes, judges have their bias, but it's so many other steps. It's like everybody you face along the way that makes all the decisions before it gets in the hands of the judge to make the final decision was all working against you either way. So it's even bigger than just the judge being biased. But because when I did go back through the system with that orgy of evidence that I talked about, and the arbitrator cited in my favor, then the judge basically was the same way. He was just like, okay, yep. He was listening to her lawyer, like, and he was listening but not listening to her lawyer. Heard him do his whole spiel, and then said, he sided with the arbitrator. That's really where the victory is. That's where you got to win. You got to win in that discussion with the arbitrator. Pro tip fact, a free game or whatever they call it. But all right. But anyway, he says old traditional male judges are young female judges who have this feminist mindset. Yeah. Oh yeah. The first chick that was an arbitrator, no doubt she was a feminist. No doubt at all. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. But and one more real quick. Ray Clemens in the building. Shout out to Ray Clemens. He said, great conversation, Bernard. Salute to Big Mike and the panel. Shout out to Ray Clemens. Appreciate your support. All right. Go ahead, Nigerian Flex. You got the floor. You got the mic.
What up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's up?
Yeah, I didn't have a disagreement with Mike. I had a disagreement with number 16. And really, I just want to one thing that y'all were talking about as far as femininity or feminine women. I think Bernard, you kind of touched on it, but one quality that they all have for the most part, right, is agreeableness and non-combativeness, right? Mm-hmm. So most feminine women don't like to argue, they don't like to fight, right? So when it comes to getting involved with the government or weaponizing the government against men, most feminine women won't. Well, I'm not going to say they won't, but they're going to be more hesitant to do that because they don't want to have to deal with the fight that comes with it. Right. So when we're talking about reducing risk, that's why we're talking about vetting for those types of women, because you significantly reduce the risk of having to go into a future fight with those women. Right. On the other hand, obviously, masculine women love to fight, which is why when you have those types of women, excuse me, you end up having those types of situations more frequently. Right. I just my issue with a lot of the statements, not to say that I have I completely disagree with number 16 as far as laws. I think everybody kind of agrees that laws do need to change. Right. I just don't like when people talk as though they need a 100% guarantee because 9 times out of 10, those are the guys who don't get outcomes anyway. And so they're trying to, it's like, there was one stream where like Kevin Samuels told this dude, he's like, black women aren't your problem. Your pocketbook is your problem. But when he came in, he was talking as though he had all these experiential issues with all these black women and they all just suck. Right. And so I just hate when people have those 100% guaranteed talking points, because it almost seems like until you find a unicorn and that unicorn's at the end of the rainbow with a pot of gold, you're not going to jump into this thing. Right. And so it's really frustrating. So the other thing I just wanted to talk about is like he came in and he said that one thing that we don't think about is that when we talk about these countries with better cultures, right? He used the word better, I believe. I'm not sure if that's what he meant, but he said that a lot of those, even though those countries have stronger relationships, those countries are in poverty, right? The issue I have with that statement is that that's besides the point. We're talking about having better relationships. So these countries, despite their poverty, are having better relationships than our country, despite our wealth. Right. And it's kind of like, it goes to the Duke and Darden argument that, and I wanted to get on a panel when he said that crap so bad. He was like, well, black women are going through all of this historical racism, blah, 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 blah. And I think it was Ed, he asked him, he's like, well, was it worse in the 1950s as far as racism when the relationships were better, or is it worse now? Right? It's like, at some point in time, we got to recognize that that your argument that something, sorry, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. At some point, we got to recognize that the fact that things were better in a worse off situation makes our current situation look worse. Like, we got to figure out what were they doing in their struggle that allowed them to succeed, and what are we doing differently, right? And so I just get to that point where I'm like, culture has to matter. Like, the only difference that we can visibly see is this cultural shift that comes with the government changes, but the cultural shift comes first. So like, I don't know. I'm the culture person. I think that culture does need to shift first, because before you get feminism, like before you get the actual like second, third, fourth wave feminism that comes into that we have by now, you have like Color Purple, you have Shahrazad Ali talking about how black women are acting up. You have all these people talking about the culture before the laws come fully into play, but they're experiencing it before the laws come fully into play. So I think history just shows that like as women become more, start shifting in their mindset towards the community, those laws were starting to be passed because those politicians had pressure put onto them by the culture that they were trying to be, or by the people that they're trying to be elected by. It's not like the politicians woke up one day and said, oh, we're going to change everything, and then everybody's going to follow suit. That never happens. Right. At least you don't get another term if that happens.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Do you got a channel?
I don't have a channel.
You don't have a channel? Okay, no. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. You probably need one, man. You need one. You said some good things, made some good points. Shout out to Evie. Now, what is that she got? Is that ostrich? What kind of coat?
Alpaca. 100% alpaca. She's nice.
She flossing that bad boy. I see you rocking that ostrich.
I got one thing to say about what you were saying. Okay, so you think about what we're involved in now, whole culture, right? That's the term that's being used. But about 4 or 5 years ago, what was Cardi B hollering? What were they hollering from the entertainment industry when they were making this shift? We're doing it for the culture, doing it for the culture. You remember that was kind of like a tagline, about 4 or 5 years back, doing it for the culture. You see what I'm saying? They changed the culture by propagating what they were propagating because they knew there was not anything to stand in the way of that.
Yeah, just real quick. I love when people always point out how other people did things, put things out there in the media, and changed the culture.
Right.
But when black men talking about getting our voices out there, building our platforms, growing black male media, and effecting some change in the culture, oh, you can't do that. That's opium. But you acknowledge that everybody else could do it. Everybody else could put out media messages to make Dwayne Wade's sons want to be a girl. Everybody else can put out media that changes and affects and inceptions people into some ideas that don't make sense.
Right.
But so it blows me away when people are that short-sighted to think that that we don't have that same power, even if it's small right now. But I mean, like, come on, let's think big. Let's think big.
And
But
like
all right,
to
go
your
ahead,
point,
Flex.
like to your point, Bernard. Like, so people got to understand, we've been in this thing for, well, the Manosphere has been here for years, right? But as far as like this movement that's going on, it's been exploding for about a year, right? I don't have a channel, but I give to a lot of channels in this sphere. And what I recognize is that within a year, about a year and a half, Kevin Samuels has been on a mainstream podcast with No Jumper. Despite what you might think about Fresh and Fit, they've been doing the same thing. And so the message has been getting out, and you're seeing celebrities, you're seeing people who would in all other circumstances be silent. They're speaking out and saying, yeah, these are the types of women that we do want. And so I do think that the messaging is very important. So, like, to his point, I don't like when people say, well, when people have this it's never going to change attitude anyway, either, because at the end of the day, what changes the mindset of the people 9 times out of 10 is the media messaging that gets put out to those people. Right. And so when you have channels that you're giving to, when you have channels like these who are in this sphere and being vocal, it does make a dent. And it's a small and slow dent, but over time it's going to build up into mountains make what is it? Enough sand makes a mountain or something like that. I forget what the whole term is, but it's kind of like that type of thing. It's the long game. So, anyways, I appreciate y'all for having me on the panel. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Blessings to you.
Hey, yeah, thank you. I do appreciate you coming through. You definitely have some good things to say. Keep coming back.
Well, it's definitely a snowball effect, man. A snowball, by the time it gets to the bottom of the mountain, causes a lot of destruction. But it might just start out as a little pebble rolling, and then it picks up momentum, and then that's how things really develop. Things don't start the opposite way. Don't start big, and get small. So that's all. Great comment.
Shout out to Black Sword. I think he was I don't even know if he was responding to that. I ain't have my earbuds all the way in. But yeah, culture changes takes 50 years, act accordingly. Yeah. I mean, that's why I say we have an issue with delayed gratification, and you can't just look at it in terms of you and your individual outcomes. You gotta think bigger. You gotta think bigger, and you gotta think further. You got to think further with this thing. But shout out to Black Sword. Also, shout out to Constructive. Hold on. Mute up, GC, until you start talking. Shout out to Constructive Consultant again. Says Nigerian Flex. He says, not true. That commentary by the women that you speak of were post those political movements. No, listen. There can't be a women's rights movement unless it starts at the grassroots. When in the 50s, before the second wave of feminism that came late 60s, early 70s, the women in the 50s had to be organizing, had to be speaking out, had to be at the grassroots saying, we sick of this being in the house, being in the kitchen shit. Okay, movement starts at the grassroots. All right.
Absolutely.
The country didn't just come and kick down the door and pass the Civil Rights Act. No, it was a lot of people boycotting buses and sit-ins and getting hosed down and dogs sicked on them, and it was fighting at the grassroots that forced the hand of the government to change the laws. Like, that's how it works. He says the infrastructure policy and historical precedent kept the familial structure. See, I don't even know what that statement has to do with the last statement,
but the feminist movement really started with Susan B. Anthony, and maybe even before that. So you're talking about excess of 70, 80 years of whatever they had to do, organizing, protesting, action, and whatnot, before it actually came to even become the 1960s sexual revolution. So it's a gradual process.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gradual process, and like
right.
Go ahead. Had to put in the groundwork. We had people that we might not have necessarily seen that put in the groundwork, and all of a sudden we're here. We have more freedoms than they had. That's how everything progresses in society.
Yeah, it's some unnamed person in history who who was walking miles to get to work because he wasn't getting on the buses. Some unnamed person in history who got his ass whooped at a city.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's people who don't even exist. They grandkids just willy-nilly just enjoying all this freedom and don't even understand that what granddad or great granddad did. I mean, like, so yeah. Anyway. Great Britain in the building. Great Britain in the building says 60 years removed from shadow slavery. Black people. Oh, I got what you're saying. Black people were married at 70%. No gangs built Black Wall Street in the Jim Crow South. What is our excuse? Right on. My man, Black Wolf Inc. in the building. He says everything can change in a matter of time. Calling things hopium is just a coward's way of saying I don't want to do anything. If you don't want to help, then get out of the way. Play my music, Captain. See, when you say play my music, I'll go ahead and play one. Snuggles ass.
Thank you.
OG, we don't do that. We don't do that here anymore. Okay.
Okay.
We under new policies. You must wait to be called on, and then that's when you speak. You don't just do your little outburst. I asked you to take your medicine. Apparently, I'm just going to trust that you took your medicine and just haven't kicked in yet. So we got to give it 10 more minutes, 15 minutes. All right. Shout out to Black Wolf Inc. in the building. Evie now back in here with a super chat says, haha, Bernard, it's fox fur, no animals here. What do you, it's okay, fox fur, no animals.
Vegan fur.
Huh?
It's vegan fur.
Really? That's a thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. It looked like ostrich to me. But yeah. All right. Well, I mean, whatever you say. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you can go ahead and admit that you're rocking an endangered species on your back. I mean, it's fine. But a constructive consultant in the building says, Bernard, okay, I figured I misread it. Bernard, you misread my statement. I was speaking on the critics of the feminist movement. Shahrazad Ali and others. Okay, thank you. My bad. We in the same building now. We in the same building. Appreciate you clearing that up. That's how I can get 2 super chats out of everybody. Completely botch the interpretation of a super chat to force them to send another one to clear it up.
That's a nice tactic. I like that.
But all right, we got Game Changer in the building. You have the floor. You have the mic.
Okay, I appreciate you, Bernard. So yeah, I came up to talk about the conversation that the brother had with number 16 about feminine women, and just want to get my 2 cents on that. So feminine women, though they're capable of, divorcing, taking stuff, et cetera, they're far less likely to do it, for one. And for 2, marriage is a risk. And if a person chooses to take that risk, it's only worth taking with a fit, feminine, and friendly woman, period. Right. It's like, why are you taking a risk with a woman who don't meet those basic criterias? You at least you gain something. There's a risk reward matrix that only a fit, feminine, and friendly woman qualifies for. She's the only one that meets the qualifications for that. It's like, wait a minute, you're risking everything for a woman who's fat, flabby, and fucked up. Like, why would you do that? I don't understand it.
Time out. So there's fit, feminine, friendly. And you said the opposite of that is what is fat, flabby, and fucked up. You done came with three counter Fs. Fat, flabby, and fucked up.
I mean, hey, I mean, there's a lot of Fs. Like, like it's like, slow kids report cards. There's a lot of Fs. Like you can say fat, flabby, and fake hair. There's so many you could put out there that it's ridiculous. But I mean, when push comes to shove, they're the only ones worth the risk. if you choose to take that risk.
Right.
So it's not really. So I get what you were saying, brother, but I don't think it's a matter of if they can't divorce and they can't do the things that that these women do, because it is a thin line between love and hate. But the thing is that they're more work to risk.
Right.
Like if you look at somebody like PJ Washington, he can at least say that she at least pretended to be fit, feminine, and friendly to him.
She was just a fine dude.
Well, that's what I say. At least
that's all.
What I'm saying is at least what I'm saying is at least pretended. I mean, things would be a lot worse. At least he had however many years with that. Now,
Wait, hold on, real quick.
I'll tell you this. The only thing she brought. Go ahead, Bernard. I'm sorry.
Well, I think Game Changer, you're trespassing on the difference between being sexy and being feminine. We talked about that on the show before. I think she's sexy as hell, but nothing about the way she talk comes off as feminine.
I'm under the impression, and maybe I shouldn't assume this, that she pretended to be feminine with him.
No, she didn't. She had too much in her track record. I mean, coming out talking about sexual experiences and who she screwed and all of this, that's not feminine. It don't matter how she looks. And I'll even say this to brothers, man, so I don't set the bar, to the unicorn at the end of the rainbow with the rainbow shooting out his ass or whatever the dude said. But honestly, man, if you could get 2 out of 3, if you can get a fit, friendly woman, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you can go back a little bit on the femininity. If you can get a feminine, well, then you got to be willing to accept and fill all of those too.
Well, here's the thing, and
that means money, big dick. You know what I'm saying? Time off a job to pay her attention. You have to actually be able to step into that role too.
Nah, I disagree with that. I don't think that the two things match. However, a woman who's not fit can't really be feminine, in my opinion, because being fit is a feminine trait. So, if she lacks that particular one, then she's down 2. But I mean, you could get with a chick that's overweight and, but she's friendly and she's, feminine. But no, that doesn't equate, because the other two things can be faked. That's the thing. The fit thing can't be faked. The other two things can.
And that's why a lot of brothers get fooled.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you got PJ Washingtons.
However, you can't, you can't hide the fat. Like, if a chick comes at you fat as hell and she's like, oh, she's so friendly. Well, she's friendly because she's physically attracted to you, because she's fat. She probably treats everybody else like crap. So
that's actually funny that she can fake feminine, she can't fake skinny. she can't,
yeah, exactly.
She can't fake skinny.
Well, I mean, a feminine woman. Oh, go for it.
No, what I'm saying,
change. I mean, bodies go up and down. So what I'm saying is the way that a body fluctuates. Does she all of a sudden, if she gains weight, all of a sudden she's not feminine anymore?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. She's not feminine if she gains weight. Like, and I'm not talking about people
so you could be with a woman 20 years and she start gaining all this weight. And
no, come on now. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on the initial meetup. Of course, if she pops out 6 of your kids, that's a whole different story now. But we're talking about women who are of dating, mating, relating age. Being fat is not a feminine thing. Like, they don't teach how to eat Doritos and Twinkies, at etiquette school. So, let's be clear. These chicks, if you're fat, then your focus wasn't on securing a healthy family, because you haven't even secured a healthy you. So fat women are incapable of being, feminine by the definition. It's just not a feminine thing to be.
To the general point that I think Big Mike Drop was trying to make about, certain concessions. I think every dude have certain things that they probably may be more lenient on. And so you basically, I think, even Pablo talked about that. You got to know what hills you're willing to die on. His, as long as she had to be pretty, she had to be be feminine. Beauty, he wasn't going to compromise on that, but he was even willing to compromise on, like she had a kid. He was willing to compromise on that. If she was on point with everything else he needed, there was things that he absolutely needed. He was willing to compromise on some other things. So because truth be told, you may not knock it out the park with it. Get an absolutely 100% beautiful woman, body on point, personality on point, everything on point, no kids, no this, completely feminine, submissive, cooperative. You may not hit the grand slam home run, but I mean, so there's some things that you could not care, like when it comes to be the youth, men do like younger women, but that wasn't a big one. That wasn't a big sticking point for me. I mean, I got married at 19. I've had the young, I was young too, but I've done that, had the young chick, had the kids, and grew together and all of that. I've done that. Now, even when I got single, I did, double dip back into some little young things, but
What
at
the
the end
hell?
of the day, wait, whoa. I mean, okay, let me word that right so I don't get clipped. I don't know what I said. I said after I got divorced, I did go back to messing. I mean, I got divorced at the early 30s. I went back to messing with some young women, younger, 20, early 20s.
Right.
That's what I said.
No, see, it disturbs me that we're having this conversation. It really does. This is a very we got to look at.
Wait. You shouldn't be disturbed. Only thing I was about to say, the thing that I compromise on, like right now, I don't care that much about that. The woman is somewhere between 21 to 25. I was just saying I didn't care about that. I met me and my woman met. I was we're the same age. That's all I'm saying. Me and my woman the same age. That was the one thing I didn't care that much about. That she, had to be 24 years old. That was the one thing that I moved on. That's all I was saying.
No, I'm not talking about the individual things that we should compromise on, kids, age and things like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about why are we as Black men? We already compromise as much as we possibly could. We're the most compromised group of people that has ever roamed the earth ever. Even Adam didn't compromise as much as we did. He sent his first wife back. So, like even when it was only one bitch in the world, he sent one back and got another. Like, why are we compromising? We're asking for basic things, fit, feminine, and friendly,
Oh, I agree. Hold on, wait. I agree. We shouldn't compromise. We don't got to compromise on fit, feminine, and friendly. That one don't got to compromise on. I was just saying with the age thing,
realistic. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Because I realize I don't want no more kids. I'm
not saying that.
I'm just explaining my position to the audience. I don't want no more kids. So if I'm going to be in a relationship with some 24-year-old who don't got kids, in the long run, I would be doing her a disservice because she eventually gonna want some kids, and I'm gonna be like, hell, I told you I ain't want no more damn kids, and then she had to be on her way packing anyway. So I was just explaining why that's one that I didn't care about, that she just be and I don't want to deal with no chick with kids, but I didn't care that that's what I'm not dealing with. I don't need them to be young. That's all I was saying.
I get it. This isn't an individual thing. Like somebody in there said that we shouldn't be looking for unicorns. Unicorns? What are you talking about? We're looking for regular size horses. Like these aren't unicorns. These aren't. Okay. I tell you what. Do this. Here's some homework for you, Lotus. Go out and find the Asian man with a woman that's not fit, feminine, and friendly. Do that.
Go to Pensacola.
And I'm not talking about, maybe
Pensacola.
Okay, maybe in Pensacola, there is a sumo fetish going on there. But generally speaking, they all get with fit, feminine, friendly women. That's a basic requirement. Ask the white mailman, ask the white guy who is not six-figure with a big ass dick, ask him what his wife looked like, and I bet you she's fit, and I bet you she's feminine and friendly. What kind of crap is this? Everybody, right quick, brother. Everybody else is getting these basic things, and we are saying that these basic things that every other bitch seem to provide their man is some unicorn stuff. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we like, we can't get the basic shit, so we need to compromise on fitness or friendliness, or we need to take 2 out of the 3. Fuck that. If you're not all three, then I'll go elsewhere or I'll die with my last dollar stuck to my masturbation hand before I deal with these busted bitches.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like all I'm saying is this. Look, I'm not against restricting anybody's freedom for whatever they choose. But what we do, we used to do a thing in the car business called putting somebody on a rocket. Are you familiar with putting somebody on a rocket?
No, I'm not.
So, in the car business, you have a lot of situations where people want to come in and shop you. So they don't really want to buy the car right now. They just want your best number, right? And then they're going to take your best number and shop it around town. So when you put somebody on a rocket, we give them an extremely low number that nobody else is even gonna entertain. So when they go around town, nobody else is gonna entertain this number. And then by the time you hit every dealership in town and came back to us, we're not gonna honor that shit either. So pretty much now it's time to negotiate. And a negotiation and a compromise means nobody leaves with exactly everything they want.
We have
That's a hell of a tactic.
We have compromised. Well, we have compromised to the point where we're buying cars with no fucking tires. Okay, we're buying cars with no engine in them. We are the most compromised, and we're overpaying for that. We're overpaying for that. We're saying that because what you were saying is if she has these base requirements, we got to make 6 figures and have a big ass dick. No, name the Asian dude with a big ass dick and see the wife he got. There isn't one. No, they got a wang and we got a big ass dick and we get less, bitch. Fuck that. We got poor negotiation skills. We got to improve. We got to be ready to walk away from the table. Just like a man should be ready to walk out the lot if you don't get a reasonable, decent car.
All right, Game Changer came through hard and heavy, man. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Make sure y'all. Well, I think y'all already dropping Game Changer in the chat. Freeman's General Building says, please, as you go read the super chat. She's not here, but I don't know if that'll be. It'll happen periodically. Sometime from time to time, she'll read the super chats.
Give me one moment. I'm gonna go refill my drink, man.
All right, I'm about to. You good? I'm about to pass it to OG. You ain't gonna miss nothing when you talking. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. Nigerian Flex in the building says, I didn't say we should look for fit, feminine, and friendly. He says, I didn't say we should look for fit, feminine, and friendly women. I said dudes won't risk anything unless they find the unicorn at the end of the rainbow with the pot of gold. They need a guarantee before they do anything. Okay, now I do think that y'all are talking about two different things, because there are some people who just absolutely hell no, we won't go, naysayers no matter what. But those are normally people like number 16 that talked about the laws and everything, which I understand that about the laws. But they were basically saying, well, I think the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow meant she must meet all those requirements, and the laws must be absolutely perfect to the point to where you got a 100% guarantee of success. It's some people who do get in a conversation like that, like it's no deal unless it's 100%, unless it's 100%. And so those guys are on a certain spectrum of extreme. Even though I understand it. I understand it, but nothing in life is going to be 100%, but it shouldn't be just like a 20% chance. An 80% chance you're going to get screwed over, or only a 10% chance of succeeding. If it's only a 10 to 20% chance of succeeding, you shouldn't then say, hey, nothing is going to be 100%. No, the percentage need to get higher. Need to be a higher chance of success. But Freeman's Journal in the building says, leave black women alone if you cannot find a good one. Yeah, I don't think people need to be heard that. I need to be told that. But it's a general true statement in America. I think the majority of black men are open to dating women of all races. So I never understand the grabbing black men by the shoulder saying, leave black women alone. I think most of them are, I don't know. He says, take the race cap off your penis. GC voice. Oh, take the race cap off of your penis. Take the race cap off. I don't. I'm not convinced that brothers do that as much as we get charged up with. I just don't.
I don't have a race cap on at all.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. OG in the building. You have the floor.
Good
You have
morning
the
to
mic.
you. Good morning to you, Ronaldo, and good morning to your chat room and Game Changer and your special guest. You're pretty much not going to get any comedy out of this morning because this is a serious topic, and I like the way it was flowing just before it drifted a little bit when I won't mention came in the room. And he was funny this morning. He must have had a nice dose of rabbit shit because he seemed like he was smart this morning. But anyway, so let's get back to what we were talking about when we was talking about the court system. And this is what I was trying to get into a couple of days ago, or maybe it was yesterday. And me and TOP, Brother X, had a good discussion about this court system. I'm in an organization called My Child Say Daddy. I've been a member of it ever since 1992. I had previously had custody battles in the courtroom back in the 80s, and I made a lot of mistakes. And I think I picked up a book said "You and the Law," so it gave you an oversight of all the laws in America. But it was a thick book, just give you the vernacular, what goes on, and how it's said in the courtroom. When I got here in California, I had a child custody case, and I don't know if any of you brothers on the panel live in California. I think Game Changer do. We got a bill sponsored here for men, and that's really what I want to let men know, that if you want to change laws, then sometimes it's best to hook up with people, and not per se lawyers, but people who have went through that process. My Child Say Daddy has went through that process, and we were able to come up with this law to get sponsored by a congressman, due to the fact we had lawyers and we had senators come to our meetings. We was 100 men strong at that time. We're probably about close to 500 now, and I would say close to 92% are successful, even dropping their lawyers at the door of the courthouse. And this is what I would really want to relay this morning, and I'm trying to be serious as I can, is there's not too many laws written just for women in that court system. And I know y'all gonna disagree with this, but there's no law says this specified towards women. And I'm gonna try to make this statement where you can understand it. There's a difference when you're playing offense and when you're playing defense. Usually women are the first one down in the courtroom. That gives you a handicap when you are playing defense. And I don't care if you're the woman or man, I can just give you my experience. Two different experiences in 1980 versus 1991 is I was on offense in California. And offense mean I had drew up the papers because she started acting a little strange. I just hadn't signed a date to it. By the time I went down to the courtroom, the gates opened up for me as it would as a woman, because I was the first to file the paper. And once I was the first to file the papers, then that's when the DA department comes in, depends what I had on my paperwork, and that DA becomes the representative of me as far as law in that courtroom. And I think this is where we make our mistakes. So like you was talking about arbitration, Bernard. In California, we do have arbitration. We have mediation too. When you first go in the courtroom, you have a mediator where you sit down what you was talking about as an arbitrator. Then you have a court-appointed person comes and see you and that child interact with each other. They spend about an hour and a half with each parent, and that's where that report is written up at versus what you went through. So each one of our experience can be different. And when we understand what's really going on in that court system, I think we have a different outlook. Sometimes we go through something and somebody's doing it for us, and we really don't understand anything other than the results. But I think men should take a more of a proactive to understand the vernacular of the courtroom when it's dealing with family law and being proactive in their own case. because we got to understand the lawyers are there as an officer of the court. And most of the time, they're thinking about their bank account more than they're thinking about you. And that's
All
why
right.
I do have this thing with lawyers as ambulance chasers. And they don't just do it for accidents.
What
They
chasers?
do it, ambulance chasers.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
ambulance?
Yes, sir. You know I'm from the 50s. So, I had one teeth white guys teaching me how to speak English. So I speak the English I speak.
Okay.
But getting back to the point, I think if we understand the court system a lot better, first thing you should never do is get a commission to hear your case. The only way a commission can hear your case.
Before we go all the way down there, I do want to back up. Well, first,
yes,
before I get into it, Nigerian Flex in the building. He says, for the record, I don't think fat women should qualify for a relationship either. But I'm 33. Fat women could barely exist in a social circle when I was growing up. Thank you for the super chat, Preachy. Hey, that shout out to Nigerian Flex supporting the stream. All right, this is what I want to get into. Like, cause you started out. Well, one of the first things you said, you were making the point that the laws, the child custody courtroom, divorce laws, all of that is basically the laws are gender neutral. That's what you're saying, correct?
Not all of them, but there are some specific towards women because there are some antiquated laws are still on the books. I wouldn't say that all laws are fair in the courtroom, but what I'm saying is, it usually is the person who's the first down in the courtroom who's filing these things. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right.
Basically, the plaintiff has more rights than the defendant.
You can increase your odds by getting down there first, but we can't make it seem like. And I just recently talked to the lead attorney yesterday. I've done some one-on-ones with him on his channel and on my channel. And every time that we've talked about how in divorce cases, a lot of the times men are going for 50-50 and they lose when they were married and all the kids were born into the marriage. But the bigger thing that I want to get you on, and I don't want you to try to cop a plea on this one. You said the laws, you essentially said, I want you to word it how you said it, because you basically said the laws are not biased towards women. You said something like that. You basically said they're not gender specific or something in that. You said something along those lines.
Well, certainly, and I stand on that square.
Okay. Now, I got to ask you this. Would you say that the laws in this country when it comes to race, are there race specific laws in this country?
Most of them are off the book now because of the 14th Amendment.
The point that I'm making is that
I'm saying you're talking about old laws, and I think that's what we're getting confused at.
Wait a minute. Hold on. There's no law in this country that says that a black man is supposed to get a longer sentence than a white or Asian man. There's no law on the books that says that, because it's written fair. But I'm sure you would agree that it's practiced unfair when it gets in the hands of a judge who can interpret it a certain way, a jury who can view the person in the hot seat a certain way.
I think I brought that point to what you were saying. I was saying that if you really listened to what I was saying, Bernard, you would have heard that laws are out there. They don't have color, race, sex, or what most laws don't. They come from the foundation of the Constitution. Then you have the state constitution, and then you have the okay, let me finish. Let me land this chapter, okay? So if I wanted to be racist and I said that I'm gonna make it a 5-year mandatory for somebody who's using crack, knowing that most black people in the 90s that was using crack, that's automatic would put black people in a disposition versus the person who have 9 kilos of cocaine who would probably get probation over somebody who have a 5-year mandatory. So I do understand that.
So wait a minute. So that's a good example, but you got to look at it like this. If the law says that doing a breaking and entry is is 1 to 3 years, okay, but whether or not the person get 1 year or 3 years is up to the judge or up to the jury or up to whoever the hell. somebody could still make the argument that there's no law that says that a black man should get a longer sentence. However, it happens to be the case that black people on average do end up getting the longer end of that 1 to 3
I do
years.
understand that
So
the
a
judge
white,
have discretion.
you
The
would
judge has discretion. I do understand that.
hold on. So the point that I'm making is you would shoot down the argument coming from a white person saying, "Hey, the laws are just fine. It's nothing race specific. It's nothing that
I
says."
never said the
Don't
laws
finish.
were
Stop
just fine.
interrupt. Come on, let me finish.
Okay.
You would shoot down the argument of a white person who said that, hey, the laws are not race specific in this country. Look what it says. It says if you break into a house, you get 1 to 3 years. It doesn't say anything about race, but the way they practice it is different. So when it comes to divorce laws, when it comes to custody laws, it doesn't matter that they didn't put gender specifics in it.
I understand what you're saying, brother.
All right, well, I still want to say it.
Okay.
The fact
But you're
that,
making a straw man argument, but something I didn't say. You are. You're totally making a straw man argument with something I didn't say. Because if you had to listen to me from the beginning, I said it's the difference between a person who goes in as the offensive player versus the defensive player. And this is how you can get around some of that you're discussing.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. If you would have said that most of the arbitrators or mediators are women, and we know most women either has a full-blown feminist mindset or even a subconscious feminist mindset, that they're going to more likely side with the woman in the woman tears in the courtroom and one of her children, and then when they give that report to the judge generally sides with the woman, and that's how it is, and that is unfair. But if you want to try a way that you can fight against some of that unfairness to increase your chances of getting a better outcome, just to move the needle a little bit on your outcome, is try to get in there first. If you would have said that, I would have agreed with you. But you made it seem like, stop. Come on, don't interrupt. You made it seem like the enormity of the problem that we're talking about can be solved by getting in there and filing first. I would say it probably will move the needle maybe 10% if men in general just got really adamant about going in there and filing first. It probably moved the needle by 10 to 15%. I'll give you that.
Would you saying it like that? Then yeah, it makes a lot of sense, Bernard. But maybe I didn't put it in the chronological order it should have been, because if you had to listen to my follow-up statement from making that statement, no, you can shake your head all you want to. But you just put it in a better square that I put it at. But that's what my point I was getting at. Regardless of anything that I say on this channel today, if you just listen to me and let me land my chopper, then you would have a greater understanding what the point I'm trying to make. And so when you come in and you try to break it down before I get it all out there, that means you're looking for the result of the game before it's played. That's your problem with me sometimes, because I don't think the same way you think. I've been here, 62 years, and maybe y'all think a little different. But if you just listen to me for a little bit, sometimes when I am trying to be serious, I think still trying to dissect it before I get it all out. I can land this chopper.
You've already flew the chopper into the side of the mountain.
That's it. See, you want to go into comment and say I'm trying to be serious this morning.
Okay, all right. We're gonna pass it to the big mic drop. Go ahead, you got it.
So I understand what both of y'all are saying, and my thing is this: I like to take things and just simplify them, especially just for case somebody that's listening that might not understand what we're talking about. So basically, what you're talking about is, let's put ourselves back as kids, right? And when we were children, we might all be involved in some kind of sinister plot together, right? But then one of us that was involved is going to be like, I'm going to go tell, because I know we're going to eventually get in trouble, right? So the one that goes and tells Big Mama or whoever they go tell, Big Daddy, whoever they go tell, and when it's time for punishments to come out, they're doing that hoping that they don't get the severe punishment like everybody else they told on is going to get. There's still a chance you can get your ass whooped just like everybody else because you were involved as well. So that's what the person going down to the court first is actually risking, because it's still going to be up to the judge. It's still going to be the judge's interpretation at the end of the day. So it's no guaranteed way.
Yeah, I got you on that. I got you on that. And see, some of the tricks I use, well, you can call them tricks, but techniques I use. When it started to get real shaky, what I did started recording some of the conversations about the rearing of the child. That's number one. And then I called my other half saying, if you do this right here, then I'm gonna do this at the courthouse. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna take your ass. Boom, 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 boom. So by the time I did get down to the courtroom, I had a lot of evidence that what was the procedure in the courtroom was not the best interest of the child. I didn't go in there and try to attack the person saying she was fat, non-feminine, or she had a bunch of men, corporate, laying in her bed in the house. I didn't go there. I came up with a plan, and with that right there, I learned from one of the legislators and one of the lawyers who came through our meeting one night, saying it's very highly, if you get that in the night before the court decide who's gonna get that child with that report's been turned in by the arbitrator, that he has to read that. He reads exactly what is going to be on his docket for the next day. So if you try to get it in a day before you have to go to trial, he's pretty refreshed himself with your case. And these are some of the techniques that men can use. Not saying they're 100% proof, but I'm just saying that you're getting more weapons by the time you get in the courtroom. That you got to understand, these jurors are used to hearing people fight against each other, attacking each other personally, but not for the best interest of the child, trying to make themselves seem to be the better parent. But the judge is looking for who's going to be the caretaker of this child. And usually when you go on 50-50 in California, you're never going to get that anyway, because we call it 49-51. That means that one person have to have physical custody of that child, and whoever have physical custody of that child will have the 51, and the other one would have 49. I happen to be the one who got 51, and she got 49 because I got physical custody of my child. So what I'm trying to say is, we have a lot of men who came through our organization who had paid up a sum up to like $75,000 and still didn't even have one night or week with their child. And that's because they were using a lawyer who seen their bank account and kept these people in the courtroom fighting against each other. And this is what I'm trying to get y'all to stay away. Have more proactive in your case. Even if you do use a lawyer, understand what's supposed to be happening in that courtroom, where you can give yourself a better chance to be successful. Because lawyers are not going to tell you about a parenting plan. Most of them will not tell you that. And that's one of the most important things that the judge makes in his decision and his discretion of looking at your case. Most persons who, a lot of us, because I'm especially dealing with us, we have DV cases where there's been a fighting in the house. You pretty much give yourself a handicap if you go into court for custody and you got a DV case. That's number one. So, because we get a little angry sometimes when somebody's telling us when we could be a father of our children. And anybody would. And that's the greatest understanding that we get from my child say, Daddy, is learning how to keep a cool head until you get what you want. Because if you don't keep a cool head, you can set yourself up with situations with police reports, restraining orders, and a lot of other things that get us in trouble because we thinking we cannot win in that courtroom. I'm not saying we can't win, we'll go win everything, but we can give ourselves a better position in that courtroom to be successful if we just keep our heads and know the laws itself that we are dealing with. Because family law is a different thing when you're dealing with when you're married, when you're non-married. But when it comes down to child custody, it's the same law. It's straight across the book. There's no different law between somebody who's married, who's not married when it comes down to child custody. They are reading from the same playbook. And we need to understand that. We need to be more proactive when somebody we're dealing with, we know we're dealing with somebody who's crazy. We know we're dealing with somebody who's not feminine. So when it comes down to our children, she ain't gonna look the same way she looked when she go down in that courtroom. She's gonna look a hell of a lot different. She's gonna go play down her looks. She's gonna play down everything because she's trying to drain your pocket. That's number one. And number two, women have a lot of groups they can go to who help them.
No, let me step in. Let me step in right there. Because I was gonna get there. It's understood by me that women have a much better understanding of systems than men do, especially government systems, because they have other women that they could rely on who've been through it, who may be able to give them advice. It's not that they have better lawyers or anything like that. They literally can rely on their relatives, their girlfriends, people who've been through this situation, and they have a deeper understanding of the system and how to work that system. Anytime there's something offered by the government, a woman finna get to it.
Most certainly, and that's what
really can't understand it or get to it. So therefore, I can't really reach out and ask my dad. I can't reach out and ask my brother because we getting screwed by the same system anyway. We don't have any understanding of the system.
Right, because we don't have organizations that teaches us like they have. Like when they go to these women's shelters, they have all kinds of resources that help them in a certain mindset. Say a woman goes in and say, "Well, he's a good husband. He's not a good husband, but he's a great father." And then that group tell them, "You cannot say that in the courtroom." You know what I mean? If you want to get hope to your children, you better not say he's a good father. Say, some of his imperfections and tell me some of his imperfections. And these are the things we go draw on. See, this is what I'm talking about. Understanding today's strategy, the things they use in that courtroom. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the laws. It has to do with the knowledge that they walk in that courtroom and the foundations they walk in. Like, just look at women's shelters. Let's just look at that. You hardly ever will find a male shelter for DV cases that a man been domestic violence towards him. He cannot go out there. He usually ends up on his mother's couch or his friend's couch or someone's couch or basement because we don't have these things for us. And it's only one, My Child Say Daddy is a Black organization in this whole country. And we're the only one that have had a law sponsored and passed in California to give a little more balance in that court system when it comes to child custody, because we are strong in numbers and we got somebody to sponsor the bill. And if Bernard them go have the second meetup, I would love for them to talk to a Reggie, who was at one time in the 80s was told that he didn't have certain rights when it came to his child. And he started this organization and he pushed forward to educate men how to maneuver themselves. We have what we call mock trials just before a person would go to trial. So we have these people come in, we have a lawyer come in and they have a mock trial. So these guys are prepared when they go in the courtroom. But I just don't like guys that have the defeated mindset that you can't win in that courtroom. And when you do that, a lot of guys choose not to show up. And that's what I was trying to get over yesterday. If you tell a person he can't win in the courtroom, right? If you tell a person he's going to be treated bad in courtroom, when that person don't show up, everything that woman wants, she get, because there's no fight back, no pushback.
No, I hear you.
Wait a minute. I can't hear nobody else. I got to drop down a second. I kicked all my cords. Sorry, I don't even know if y'all was having a conversation.
Yeah, we
I'm
were
probably
going
interrupting. So I'm about to drop back down and get my audio back right. So give me 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, go ahead and have at it. And I can't hear nothing that's being said right now. So I apologize for any lunacy that came out of OG's mouth while I was away.
Nah, man, we keeping it in the row.
All right.
We keep it in a row, bro.
Yeah, we holding
and number 16, I could be like this sometime, but when I hear foolishness from women or I hear foolishness from men, then that makes me go into my comedic way I handle it versus laughing about it versus crying about it. Because we all got our hands dirty in this. Ain't none of us clean in this, man.
Brother, let me step in with you. Let me join you on this.
Yes, sir.
Join you on this. So I think this. I don't have any use for a defeated mentality. And like I told you at the beginning of the show, I'm a sociology, social sciences type of guy, mainly sociology. And the defeated mentality and not really having any answers is it makes you just as useful as somebody who deletes themselves in this fight. the hopium, that shit got me going at the beginning, but brother came on and clarified the statements. But I am hearing a lot of brothers this is what I'm hearing from a lot of brothers in this space, not necessarily this show, but this space. We want to continue to act the way we want to act. We want to still continue to have unprotected sex with these women. We still want to continue to walk the tightrope with these women. And then we want to just lose hope at the end of the day when the inevitable happens, which is why I take it back to vetting. I take it back to properly vetting the woman that you're going to be with. See, a lot of these things can be avoided if you got game on the front end of the situation. All relationships don't end up in marriages, and all marriages don't end up in divorce.
Versus picking up the pieces in the end, you started from the beginning. You build the car that you want. By the time it's done, put together, then it's not saying that you're not going to have some trouble out of the fuel injection system sometime, or you're going to have a problem with the engine sometime. But what it is saying, you have a rock solid car, even though you're going to have some problems with it, you still can maintain it. Right. And that's the biggest problem I see a lot of time. A lot of guys don't even have their experience. They just listen to other people and they regurgitate what other people are saying without having actual facts of that life. And that could be problematic when you're starting to have serious discussion, especially when it comes down to family court.
Yeah, that's why some comments, man, I just shut up. Like because some paths aren't really worth going down, because you got certain people that want to maintain narratives as well. So once I pick up on that, then I just fall back, because nothing I say is going to change the person's mind. The only thing that can really happen is you confuse the people that are really seeking, perspective and guidance on their situation.
Hey, Bernard,
right.
I want to tell you something.
Real quick,
Bernard, can I just get one thing in?
Hold on. I just
okay,
want
go
to
ahead.
just make sure everybody, you and Mike can answer this one. My audio does sound okay, right?
Oh,
sound
yeah, you're crystal clear. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it
good.
sounds good to me.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
Damn, I'm getting old. I forgot what the hell I was going to ask you.
Getting old? Hold on, wait. No, you was getting old like 25 years ago. You passed
No, 25. Look, 25 years ago, I would put you to shame, Bernard. At my age. But anyway, Bernard, let me say this. I come over here a lot of times, and I'm an entertainer. I've been entertaining for 35 years. I started off doing comedy when I was like 12 years old. So I do have that skill.
Yeah.
But with all that said, I do have the experience of going through what every man in somewhat level have had to go through too. I'm still a black man. I'm still a black man in the United States of America. All right. And some things that y'all take serious because you in the mix of it, I already don't went through it. And I think this is where the disconnect comes in with the older generation and the newer generation is we didn't understand our mothers the way they dance, and they didn't understand the way we dance. And sometimes we have that disconnect. But the worstest thing we can do is become our parents when we get older, because we start being so judgmental on everything. But I see the new generation has did that in really reverse. They don't want to have anything to do with the older generation because we have experienced what they're going through, and they think we are not sensitive what they're going through. We are. We just have different solutions, or we don't went through it, and sometimes they don't understand and they think we're trying to shame them. I never try to shame or father any of these guys. Only thing I have to do is give my experiences as well as they giving their experience. And I think that's where the disconnect come up. Because when I give my experience, it's almost shaming their experience because of my outcome. But I think we go somewhere, we're going to have to start having that communication, and that disconnect will have to go away, because there's a lot of things I learned from younger guys on these channels. That's why I'm here. There's a lot of old people I don't hang with because they stuck in their ways. I'm here to help. Regardless if you like me or not like me, I'm here to help.
All right, yeah. 90% of the time you still be tripping, but I do believe that you genuinely care, and you are yeah. I like the comedic aspect that you bring to the show. My audience don't. They love to hate you. They love to hate you. Put it like that. But no, yeah, all right with me. Yeah, all right with me. You don't got to explain yourself to me. You may have to sell yourself to some of them. But no, yeah, all right with me. I like
Well, some of these
people.
brothers, but not before I go. With some of these brothers,
All right, now here you go. Now you about to take a crap on them. Now
no, not you. But if
you
some of these brothers just need a six-pack of strawberry sodas and a three-piece fish dinner, and they'll be satisfied, and that's all they want. They just want conflict. They want to hate everything. I mean, some of us just like that. You know what I mean? You can never be right with them. You know, even if you agree along with them, you can be right. Or something wrong with you if you agree along with them. So I do understand them type of brother, but that's not your channel. That's not really 90% of your chat room. Most of these guys do come here to learn something. They come and get things off their chest. And I understand we didn't have this kind of media when I was coming up, but we did have barbecues. We did have events where men came together and we discussed our problems. We just didn't have this type of communication. So I need for the brothers to understand we've been talking about this problem for a long time. I stood right in Charlotte, North Carolina, with a sign saying how unfair the court system for men was while Whoopi Goldberg was doing a tour for women in 1986. So this has been a long, long lasting fight for me.
All right. And I know you don't like when I do this after you say something, and I say, okay, that was your last words, but those are your last words. So we about to.
I don't get no closing statement.
That OG, trust me, that was the best closing statement. Like I think you said something that. I mean, you probably won over 2% of the audience. Most of them still don't like you, but you should let that be your closing statement.
I got 11 people like me now.
Yeah. there I said it in the building. It says I disagree with Mike. Once mama and them counsel her, even a feminine woman will move in her best interest.
Is that supposed to? Is what she's supposed to do? What kind of what? My thing is this: what interest do you expect anybody to move in besides their best interest?
Well,
let's be intellectually honest about this. If we're splitting up, you're supposed to move in my best interest.
Well, okay. Well, see, here's the thing with it. Now, I understand exactly what you're saying, and women say that all the time. A woman is going to always move in her best interest. But see, here's the thing: her best interest sometimes is not in the best interest of the child.
I get it.
And sometimes she may not be the best judge of what her best interest. Her interest could be some very emotional, erratic, selfish interest. And okay, and so I mean, yeah, she's gonna move in her best interest, but I don't think that's generally a good thing. Now, if she made good calculated decisions about what her best interest is and thought about the big picture and the kids and all of that, then yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, it's just a thing.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Once you're at odds with people, once you engage somebody in any kind of battle, they are going to move in their best interest, whatever they perceive their best interest to be. Mm-hmm. So, I don't see what brothers really want somebody to do. If I'm splitting up with you, are you supposed to move in my best interest? You see what I mean? And a lot of times it's the dudes that are thinking about the best interest of the children, and it's the women thinking about how they look to other women.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, what those interests are other things, but I don't want brothers to be surprised when these type of things happen. This is what's going to happen when you draw lines in the sand. People are going to take sides.
All right.
Brother, I got to I'm gonna have to raise up off of here, man. Because I gotta make a run. I'm gonna head out here to Alabama and take my brother-in-law this trailer, man. He moving, so he has to use my trailer. So I'm gonna cut.
Yeah, no, I was about to get up off of here anyway.
What do you got? Problem with the court system?
You got any? Hold on, wait. Stop. No. He's trying to get up out of here. But you got any last words? Any last words before you get it?
Man, I appreciate the opportunity.
No doubt.
For you having me on your platform, man. It was a great honor. It was a great honor to expose me to your crowd, man. Even though some people may not be able to take it.
They
Some people,
50-50 on you. They 50-50 on you.
Hey,
Some
man.
of them ain't rocking with you. But that's all right though. That's all right.
I will take 50-50 odds any day. You know what I'm saying? That's what the majority of the conversation was about, is 50-50. And I'll say this too. If everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong. So
right on.
You
Right
know,
on. Casual observer in the building. What you say?
I say I appreciate you, man.
Oh
And
yeah, no doubt,
thank
no
you for
doubt.
having me on.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
And I'm gonna keep listening. But thank you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm about to get up off of here too. So but all right. Casual observers appreciate that. He says go in first to split your asset seems legit. I'm lost on where y'all was at, but I think I know what he's trying to say there. But hey, everybody in the building who participated with this in any way, shape, or form, thank you to each and every one of you. The people that came through on the Cash App end, I do appreciate that. Some of y'all be hitting me up solid on the Cash App, and my man KD always come through. He dropped $50 on the Cash App. I appreciate KD. Thank you for that, and thank you everybody in the building. And with that said, we are up out of here. Peace.
Peace.